Berger coming in for Smith Rowe is that solitary change. Lukic, Pereira, Traore, Iwobi and Raul Jimenez. As we're underway, Manchester City playing from left to right as we look. We're sitting low down to the left of the halfway line. Fulham therefore from right to left and hoping to spring what would be considered, Chris Waddle, as a major surprise.
It would be, but they're in good form. All right, they lost the first league game to Man United, but since then they've picked up and they've got some very good players. I just hope they're very positive, and I'm sure the manager does. They've got to be brave on the ball when you come here.
Well, their record is actually the worst in English football, because Manchester City have won their last 16 consecutive meetings, which is the longest winning run that one side has had against another opposition for a long time. So Tony Livesey said yesterday that the omens were not good, but I've got my own line that they're hoping to avoid a horror show, because Craven Cottage was actually once used in the making of a horror movie, and that was the Omen back in 1968, according to Tony. That was his fact of the day on Drive, 5:20 every Friday afternoon on 5 Live. But 2 minutes in, 0-0 in the early stages, the usual goal service as Manchester City try to keep pace with Liverpool, who have gone clear at the top of the table after that victory at Selhurst Park by 1-0. So they are 4 points clear now of Manchester City and Arsenal. We'll keep you in touch with Arsenal at home to Southampton, as we will with all of our other reporters around the country. As here is Kovacic, Haaland out towards Gundogan, back in it goes towards Haaland and behind for a corner. And there's been another goal at Brentford. Surely not again, Will Perry.
They've done it again, but not inside the first minute. I timed this at about 1:17. Can you believe it? Brentford 1, Wolves 0. Across to the 6'10" Christopher Ayer inside the 6-yard box. Heads past Sam Johnston. 1:17:18. Brentford in front early again. Brentford 1, Wolves 0.
22 seconds, 23 seconds, 37 seconds. Corner for Manchester City. In it comes from that left-hand side. Referee has blown his whistle. So an early goal at Brentford and another early goal at West Ham. Chris Coles.
This one inside a minute for West Ham. Just what they needed. Mikel Antonio with it. Jared Bowen did all the hard work to the right-hand side of the area. Slid it across. Antonio put it beyond Muric. West Ham 1, Ipswich 0.
So both Brentford and West Ham off to strong starts in the capital. That was a poor ball by Leno. He holds his hands up straight away, straight to Bernardo Silva. Comes to Gundogan! Down into the ground wide, left-footed, and a let-off for Fulham.
Well, it's a terrible goal kick by Leno, who plays it straight to Bernardo Silva, who then feeds it to Haaland, back to Gundogan, and maybe be disappointed he hasn't hit the target. But we talk about teams coming here, Ian, and you know, you look at the body language of Fulham already. It's like, how many they're going to score, and they're not trying to make an impression on the game. I know we've just kicked off. They've got 10, 11 people behind the ball. They don't look at any intent of trying to come out and have a go at them. And we know what's going to happen eventually. What happens when City scores? Game over.
Gvardiol into Haaland. Haaland lays it off. Back to Haaland! Just wide. Left-footed, made the run, diagonal run into the inside left channel of the penalty area. Pulled it across the face of goal. But that's 2 chances in the space of, 30 seconds?
Yeah, but you look at Fulham, they're just standing off Manchester City. Manchester City's come out the blocks quick. He's definitely on sale. We're getting a replay here. And he'll be disappointed he hasn't hit the target, Haaland there. As Gundogan, a minute ago, should hit the target as well. But at the minute, all Man City is what we expected.
Clearance from Fulham, out to Iwobi, leaps in the air, chests the ball off to Jimenez. Back then it goes to Iwobi. Nicks it into the path of Berger. Berger now out towards Tete on that far side. Iwobi midway through the Manchester City half. All of a sudden those in the red and black striped shirts can make a first foray into the Manchester City half. Ball played forward, and then it was rather sloppily given away by Lukic in the midfield. Balloons up into the air for Jimenez, tussles with it against Diaz, heads it away. Gvardiol with the up and under. It was more up than away, actually, and in the end it's need back to Ederson.
That's what Fulham's got to do, Ian. They've got to press the ball a lot higher. You can't retreat to the 18-yard line and try and win the ball back. They've got to try and win it back a lot higher in what they're trying to do, and when they've tried that the last couple of minutes, they've had a little bit of success.
Manchester City, one of 4 unbeaten sides in the 92 professional clubs in the Premier League and the Football League. Manchester City, Arsenal, Sheffield United and Birmingham of the 4 unbeaten sides. There are 5 in the Premier League who are yet to win. Wolverhampton Wanderers, bottom of the table, are one of those sides. They were behind, but there's been a goal. Will Perry.
Only behind for 3 minutes. Brentford 1, Wolves 1. Ball pulled back to Mateus Cunha from the penalty spot, who curls it past Flecken. Brentford 1, Wolves 1.
Manchester City awarded a direct free kick here by a referee, Peter Banks. We can squeeze in a quick update from John Southall at Arsenal.
Arsenal 0, Southampton 0, all Arsenal. Gabriel header blocked, it fell to Jesus, his shot deflected away. It only seems a matter of time. Arsenal 0, Southampton 0.
5.5 minutes played, and already in these opening stages it's ominous for Fulham.
Well, the trouble is they get the ball at the back, Fulham, and they can't get out. They've got nobody up front. Jimenez is dropping into midfield basically. They're playing 2-5s really, I've got to say. There's nobody up front, nobody high up the field, so they're trying to play little passes. Man City sniffed that out, got onto it. They've had 2 good chances already. Now they've got a great opportunity. Free kick just outside the D.
This is a Manchester City side, incidentally, that is unbeaten in 49 home games in all competitions, and there is a real conflab going on just right of the of centre outside the penalty area. There was 5 of them involved in the sky blue of Manchester City. Foden, Grealish, Diaz have walked away. We're left with Gundogan or Haaland for this free kick.
Haaland, goalie's right.
The left foot of Haaland or the right foot of Gundogan. Leno has got 5 in the wall. He's not going to get a good view of this. It is Haaland, left-footed, he goes low, takes a bit of a ricochet, kept alive by Gvardiol, tries to lose his marker, challenged by Tete. Fulham should clear. Another goal at West Ham. Chris Coles.
Equaliser for Ipswich. Liam Delap is at it again. A wonderful finish from just outside the penalty area. Didn't seem to be much on. Right foot shot, beat Areola at the front post. West Ham 1, Ipswich 1.
Brentford 1, Wolves 1, and that 1-1 scoreline at West Ham United, the only goal so far in the 3 o'clock games in the Premier League. As we welcome listeners to the BBC World Service wherever you are in the world, it is a pleasure to have your company. 7 minutes in to the Etihad, 0-0 between Manchester City and Fulham. Iwobi in the red and black striped shirts of Fulham to Tete, right corner of his own area, hits it long and nobody's there.
Oh yeah, I've said it from the start. You've got 11 men behind the ball playing very, very deep, so every time you win it, where do you go? What can you do? We've just saw a classic there. Teddy just plays it down the right hand channel, nobody within 40 yards of the ball. Man City come back again. You've got to be more positive.
If it's a pleasure to have you wherever you are in the world, believe me, it's a pleasure to be sitting alongside the legend that is Chris Waddle here on BBC Radio 5 Live this afternoon. 8 minutes played, 0-0 as Akanji to Gvardiol. Every outfield player is in the half away towards our right. Gvardiol, Foden lays it off. Good footwork by Haaland. Shot comes in from Haaland. Comfortable save by Lennon.
Right feet by Haaland though. In a tight area, a lot of Fulham players around him. Shifts it from his left to his right. Doesn't get the contact he wants from inside the D. Very comfortable save, but it's just a matter of time in before City score.
That one change that Marco Silva made today is only their 3rd alteration so far in this Premier League campaign. They made the fewest changes before today with just 2. Along with Newcastle United, in fact, they've only used 19 players, which is the joint fewest so far in this early stages of this Premier League season, where we have 5 Premier League commentaries to bring you on the 5 Live network over the weekend. We've got Everton against Newcastle, incidentally, at 5:30 after Sports Report later on today. But in the sunshine, as it creeps eventually off the playing surface, it's just in that far quarter of the field. Marco Silva very animated in the shadows of the main stand on this near side. We talk about Fulham's poor record against Manchester City. Marco Silva has lost all 10 games as a manager against Manchester City. An aggregate score of 7 goals for, 33 conceded. Mansfield Town, 4 straight wins in League One, 3rd against 6th, as Blackpool been revitalised under Steve Bruce, but Mansfield under Nigel Clough have taken the lead at Field Mill, 1-0, that's in League One, 9 minutes played. BBC Radio 5 Live, also available on the BBC Sounds app, as Wrexham are leading by 1-0. They're just ahead of Mansfield in the table, Phil Parkinson's side, and they lead Northampton Town by 1-0. As Foden being tracked by Bassi, and then into the challenge goes Berger, comes out loose, laid off by Jimenez. Ball hit early by Pereira, and Marco Silva is hopping mad.
I don't blame him. That was a great opportunity there. Warby was down at right hand side. It was a simple ball to his feet. He had acres to run into Haaland.
Foden scooped the ball forward and it was flicked away by Calvin Bassey, running back to the edge of his area. Marco Silva would like to see his side have a sustained spell of possession in these opening 10 minutes as they try to get Jimenez away on that far side, and he's wrestled to the floor by Diaz. It's a free kick to Fulham.
It was a free kick, there's no doubt about that. We see it all the time now in the game, and the linesman was 3-4 yards away, got his flag up early, gives chance to Fulham now to get up the park.
So a little bit of respite for Fulham in the sunshine on that far side. And in the end, it's Jimenez who's actually got to go and retrieve the ball as he kicks it back eventually to Pereira. He's being told by Peter Banks, the referee, just to retreat a little bit more. So 10 yards over the halfway line, far side the right. Back it goes to Anderson, and Anderson then goes all the way back to his goalkeeper. And from what was a promising position, they've put themselves under so much pressure back inside their own half.
Unbelievable. I mean, they've given the ball away back now, which they've got a free kick, they've got a chance to put it over the top, into the box, ask a question, they go back all the way to the goalkeeper.
Well, they've only conceded 5 goals, which is the fewest they've ever conceded in the top flight at this stage, but at some stage they're going to have to show a little bit of ambition, you would think, as here is Gvardiol out to that far side for Grealish. Back it then goes to Gvardiol, almost trying to draw Fulham out. Akanji. Then Fulham press, then they get at the loose ball. Pereira picks it up, 30 yards out from goal. Iwobi at pace joining the attack, edge of the area. Iwobi with a shot, deflected, better for the away side. And that goes out of play for a corner kick. Goal at Bramall Lane, Sani Rudravajala.
Sheffield United are taking the lead. It's Sheffield United 1, Luton Town 0. Bit of pinball inside the area. It breaks to Jezran Raksaki. Emphatic finish from him from the right hand side. Sheffield United 1, Luton Town 0.
Still unbeaten, and that would actually, if they were to get 3 points, take them level with the leader Sunderland, who drew 2-2 after that gift from Meslier last night in that 2-2 draw at the Stadium of Light. 12 minutes played, goalless here at the Etihad. 5 Live, the World Service and the BBC Sounds app, and Fulham have a corner kick. Anderson is up from the back, Jimenez is there as well, Berger, Calvin Bassey, in it comes now. Jimenez gets his head onto it, it goes away from the penalty area, short forward ball by Rico Lewis. Gvardiol tries to streak away on this near side the right. Fulham had plenty of red and black shirts back there, and in the end Gvardiol held onto the ball but had to go back to Akanji. Let's get an update from Arsenal. John Southall.
All Arsenal 0, Southampton 0. Corner on the left hand side, there was Kai Havertz at the near post to head over. Arsenal 0, Southampton 0.
Here is Akanji on the halfway line. A stationary Pep Guardiola, very casual, black trousers and his black sweater watching on. Marco Silva, his opposite number, has gone for the black hoodie with his white pumps. Both matches, but it's managers are looking on, but it's Marco Silva who's shuffling from side to side and looks the more frustrated. The ball is hit now by Bernardo Silva. Cushion header forward by Anderson, goes straight to Kovacic. Silva again isn't happy. The amount of energy that he's expending on the touchline.
Well, he's really annoyed because they're giving the ball away so cheaply when they get it back, and it's difficult to get it back off a Manchester City side, we know that, but when you get it, you've got to look after it, and they're not.
Here is Grealish, left touchline, level with the penalty area, back to Gvardiol. Gvardiol with the cross, spreads it out to the right hand side of the box. Bernardo Silva stabs it into the path of Lewis and cut behind for a corner kick as we go to Pat Murphy at Leicester.
It's 0-0 here against Bournemouth, but Leicester's defensive malaise continues. Some poor clearances, lack of concentration. Senesi diving header just wide. At the other end, Buonanati 25 yards out, left foot, fine effort, punch clear by Kepa. Leicester 0, Bournemouth 0.
Foden waits to take the corner then on this right hand side. Fulham have everybody back in and around their penalty area as we look to our right. Foden goes deep towards the far post. Haaland with a header plucked out of the air by Leno.
Yeah, I think it was in 2 minds that he headed back across the goal. Knowing Haaland, he's probably went for goal. Wasn't enough power to trouble Leno. Easily comes out and catches it.
11 goals already that he's scored this season. 101 goals in 107 appearances.
He's just an unbelievable goal scorer for me. He is a goal scorer, and that's what I mean, a goal scorer. He's one of the best at doing that job.
And of that 101, 73 of them have come off his left boot. As here is Akanji, gets it back from Foden, runs forward. Akanji waits, plays it then out to Bernardo Silva, edge of the area, he plays it infield to Kovacic, runs, commits the defender. Gvardiol now turns, passes the ball back towards Akanji, now finds Bernardo Silva, sends over a left-footed cross, it's a deep one, Iwobi off the chest and is forced to clear, and it's going to go behind for a corner kick. Burton Albion are leading Bristol Rovers by 1-0. Burton Albion are yet to win. Rugby Union update, Molly Stevens.
Bath 0, Bristol Bears 7, Bristol in front inside 2 minutes here, seamless passing from the halfway line. Marks Malins goes over in the left hand corner, AJ McGinty with the conversion. Bath 0, Bristol Bears 7.
Quarter of an hour played on BBC Radio 5 Live. Manchester City corner kick, left hand side, 2 Fulham players both go for it. That was Tete and Sander Berger, and it's gone behind for another corner. Plymouth are leading Blackburn Rovers by 1-0. We'll get news of that when we can. Another corner kick though for Manchester City. The Sky Blue shirts wait. Gundogan to take it. It's an in-swinger and well claimed again by Leno. Goal meanwhile at Leicester, Pat Murphy.
Goal to Leicester City, and a superb one from Buonanotte. He began the move on the halfway line, into play with Justin, flicked it over the defender's head, cut in, left foot, brilliant goal. Leicester 1, Bournemouth 0.
And on the counter-attack here, Iwobi shrugged off the challenge of Rico Lewis, and in the end it was Adama Traore who shrugged off the challenge of Lewis, went one-on-one with Edison, and Edison made the save with his legs.
Well, Lewis had the legs on him at first, and you thought, wow, I didn't realise he was that quick, because Adama is that quick, but he pushes him to one side, he gets the other side of him, it wasn't a foul, and he should score. He's just got to lift it, or place it a little bit wider, the keeper. Comfortable save. What an opportunity that was for Fulham.
Meanwhile, Manchester City are on the attack. Grealish wriggles away from Iwobi, far side the left. Grealish down towards the byline on that left-hand side. Sends over the cross, diverted behind for a corner kick.
Yeah, we've not seen Grealish in the game so far, and it's his first run he's had. He's playing against he's actually playing right wing back. He's playing right back, really, and it's been an interesting battle so far. That was the first time we really saw Grealish have a go at him.
So Manchester City wake to take the corner. Crewe lead Gillingham by 1-0. So at Gresty Road, the League Two leaders are behind as Lewis passes the ball square from that corner kick. Bernardo Silva drops his shoulder and runs away from Jimenez, who then recovers to get back goal side, level with the penalty area, a few yards in from the touchline, infield to Gvardiol, challenged by Calvin Bassey, comes back out towards Bassey, back heels the ball now to Iwobi. There's a break on if Iwobi could pass the ball early to Pereira. They took a deflection off a Manchester City player. They were looking for the offside flag. Iwobi then tries to switch it. Had he played it early in the first instance, Chris, Fulham were in on goal then.
Well, Adama, he's just got to play it in. He plays it without look. He should know. He could see Iwobi on the right hand side. He's just got to play. He doesn't have to look or hesitate. Just play it.
Let's get news of that goal at Crewe from Adam Cottier.
Crewe scoring with their first attack. Shiloh Tracy with a side foot finish from close range after good work in the box by Jack Lancaster. Crewe 1, Gillingham 0.
Jimenez, that was a heavy touch. It goes straight to Gundogan. Manchester City then give the ball away. Pep Guardiola turns away in frustration, and then Jack Grealish brings a rather abrupt halt to the run of Calvin Bassey. I mentioned that Plymouth had taken the lead. Details of that goal at home park from John Akers.
Great start for Plymouth. Plymouth 1, Blackburn 0. A move down the left. Sissoko, quick feet, low cross. Michael Obafemi, left foot finish. First goal for the club. Plymouth 1, Blackburn 0.
Blackburn lost their unbeaten record at Coventry in midweek. They were looking to bounce back, but see their side behind at home park. Bassey, I think, is really feeling the effects of that shuddering challenge from Jack Grealish as he waits to take this free kick. 19 minutes played. Manchester City 0, Fulham 0, and ironically, despite a couple of early chances for Gundogan and Haaland, the best chance has actually fallen to Fulham.
Yeah, definitely. I don't want Traore. He's used his pace, and we know what he's got, but his finishing wasn't good enough.
Ball hit from left back by Robinson for Pereira to get round the back, but it was overhit, went straight through to Edison. It was Brentford 1, Wolves 1. Penalty, Will Perry.
Penalty to Brentford after Lamina dragged Collins to the floor. Andy Madley went to the side screen, awarded the penalty, and up stretched Brian Mbeumo, the Frenchman, with Sam Johnston trying to deny him in front of the Brentford fans. Mbeumo looking for his 6th Premier League goal of the season. Here he comes into the bottom right-hand corner, and from that awarded penalty, Brentford lead Wolves by 2-1.
The goals as they go in, live on BBC Radio 5 Live. Here is Gundogan turning 6 yards forward of the centre circle for Manchester City, playing from left to right, sky blue shirts, white shorts. Bernardo Silva, right hand side. Robinson is standing in front of him. Bernardo Silva tries to go one way, then waits, shifts it onto his left boot, passes the ball in field. This is Ruben Dias, 30 yards out from goal, central position, short forward ball. Gundogan challenged by Berger, direct free kick for Manchester City, as Bolton Wanderers 0, Shrewsbury Town 1 is the latest score in League One, and you're up to date.
So far in this game, I've got to say that Man City can't get round the back. Grealish has had no joy. Bernardo Silva, box of tricks, but not gone past the full-back yet, Robinson. So they're finding it hard to get around the back of this Fulham side.
And we're in the 21st minute. It remains 0-0. Gundogan, Lewis and Foden stand over the free kick. Fulham have got everybody back. They've actually only just got one in the wall, that is Pereira. He's been told to just shuffle back a couple of more inches by referee Peter Bankston. In fact, he now forms a 2-man wall inside the D with Jimenez under the instructions of Bernd Leno. Foden, in fact no, it's Gundogan, square to Lewis, floats it to Akanji, comes off the head of Akanji and will be hooked clear by Iwobi for Fulham. That bouncing ball has Jimenez giving chase, but Gundogan sees it back to Ederson.
I don't know why they don't shoot in. It's 25 yards. You know, you've got Gundogan, you've got Foden, you've got so many talented players on the Man City team, and the 25 yards out, and I don't know what that free kick was all about.
That's the voice of Chris Waddle with us here on BBC Radio 5 Live, as Lewis, who's had a strong start to the season, once again named in the England squad by Lee Carsley for the forthcoming Nations League games against Greece at Wembley on Thursday, and then Finland away, games that you will be able to hear on BBC Radio 5 Live later in the week, and then a week tomorrow for that match in Helsinki, as Bernardo Silva to Ruben Dias, right of the centre circle. Midway through the first half, 0-0. Ball played forward by Gundogan. They appealed for handball. Foden towards Haaland. Haaland's scuffed effort. Fulham clear. It was Anderson in front of his own goalkeeper Leno, and eventually Tete gets it away. Flick header then by Jimenez. Pereira is the one tasked to run onto the end of it, but Ruben Dias had a good head start there and saw it back to his goalkeeper.
Well, most of the joy Fulham's got, isn't it, by Adama Traore down his left side. That's where they're getting the joy.
Here now is Tete striding forward out of defence. Tete to Jimenez, he lets it bypass him, picked up by Traore. Traore has Robinson steaming on the overlap. His cross comes off the legs of Rico Lewis, and Ederson dives away to his right to prevent it from going behind for a corner kick. We'll go back to West Ham. Chris Coles.
1-1, West Ham and Ipswich. Really engaging game. There's good chances for both. The best falling to West Ham. Jared Bowen nearly sneaking in at the back post. Muric, good save. And then Mohamed Kudus, a low shot straight at Muric. West Ham 1, Ipswich 1.
The League Two leaders Gillingham are trailing at Gresty Road. Opportunity maybe for Notts County. However, at Meadow Lane, Port Vale have taken the lead. Notts County 0, Port Vale 1. Grealish, who once had that spell at Notts County back in the day, runs forward over on that far side, the left. Held up though by Iwobi. Gvardiol just in from the touchline, far side, the left. Now it's with Ruben Dias. MK Dons 1, Tranmere 0 is the latest score in League Two. In League One, Exeter are leading Cambridge United by a goal to 0. Cambridge, who are still yet to win this season. Gundogan out then towards Bernardo Silva, right hand side of the penalty area. Robinson in front of him. Bernardo Silva passes the ball back. Kovacic has a shot, that was blocked. Comes to Gvardiol, charge down, loose ball. Akanji leaves it and then cleared by Berger, and giving chase will be Adama Traore. Akanji dives in and deals with it, and the ball stays in play, and Gvardiol will bring it clear. 24 minutes played. Here is Rico Lewis. Forward then to Foden. Out to Bernardo Silva. Closed down quickly by Robinson. Shows him on the inside. Bernardo Silva's diagonal ball. Gundogan with a header on the run. Off target, goal kick, 0-0.
I've got to say, Ian, the most joy both teams are getting is Man City going forward down the right with Bernardo Silva. He's got the beating of Robinson every time. And Adama Traore down this left-hand side, he's got the pace. He's their out ball without a shadow of a doubt.
Well, Leno waits. Already a few whistles from the Manchester City supporters, because they'll be, I'm sure Peter Banks will be keeping an eye on his stopwatch with this, as Leno then takes the goal kick short, passes it to Calvin Bassey. 25 minutes played and it remains 0-0, as this is Traore back to Lukic for what is his 50th appearance since he arrived from Torino in January 23. In the cricket, in the Women's T20 World Cup, Bangladesh, England, which is on commentary on Sports Extra at the moment, England's women are 36 without loss after 5 overs. That's on Sports Extra. This is the Premier League, live on 5 Live, on another busy weekend of Premier League coverage. Iwobi, right hand side, back to Tete, forward ball, and now all of a sudden every outfield player is in the half away towards our left. Dundee lead Kilmarnock by a goal to none at Dens Park in the Scottish Premiership. Lukic running forward, ball helped on its way. Traore with the cross then from Robinson. Jimenez just trying to back away on the edge of the area, flicks it out to his right. Iwobi back into Jimenez, looking to turn. The little flick and prodded in by Pereira. Brilliant play by Jimenez with the assist. What improvisation! And Pereira pounced on it, and Manchester City are behind, and Fulham take the lead by a goal to 0.
Well, let's be honest here, we're not saw it coming. The odd breakaway by Traore down his left hand side. Apart from that, they've offered very, very little going forward, but that was a brilliant bit of skill by Jimenez, wasn't it? He sort of miscontrolled it a little bit, flicked up in the air, he gives a back heel to spot Pereira. I don't know if he spotted him, but it's a brilliant bit of skill. And this was the first time we really saw Fulham look confident when they got over the halfway line, and it's a very good goal, excellent goal.
Super goal, but it's all about that bit of creation which bamboozled the Manchester City defence, and Pereira, a former Manchester United player, has scored at the Etihad, and Manchester City are behind. However, when they conceded first against Ipswich and Brentford earlier this season, they have come from behind to win. But Fulham are leading by a goal to 0. Wycombe 1, Crawley Town 0, Rotherham 0, Reading 1, and in the Championship, Coventry, close your ears, Chris Waddle, are leading Sheffield Wednesday by a goal to 0, as we'll go back to Brentford and Will Perry.
Oh, another goal just as you come to me there, as Norgard puts Brentford back in front. Brentford 3, Wolves 2, and just before that, Wolves level with a brilliant goal from Jurgen Strand-Larsen. Cross from the left-hand side, and Strand-Larsen managed to battle with Pinnock, put it into the bottom right-hand side. We've had 5 goals. We've only played 27 minutes here at the G-Tech, but now Brentford lead Wolves by 3 goals to 2.
Match of the day tonight, BBC One at 10:30. Manchester City then looking to come from behind. Lewis, right hand side, plays it to Kovacic. Bernardo Silva back to Kovacic, right corner of the area, infield to Foden on the half turn. Gvardiol outside the area, Grealish left corner of the box, Grealish up against Iwobi, plays it back, they give it away, and Jimenez now plays out towards Pereira, and they could have a break on. Traore is steaming through the middle, Iwobi also going forward. It's 3 against 2 now for Fulham. If they play it right, they find it to Iwobi, pulls it to Traore, and he scoops it over the top. What a chance that was for Fulham to go 2-0 up, and Traore couldn't keep it down. 6 yards out, right-footed, over the crossbar.
Well, you don't get many chances when you come here, do you? And that was a glorious chance. Traore's had one already, and that really should have been a goal. Let's be honest, that was a great break, 3-on-2. But City's all over the place at the minute. They've got... I look at the City team, there's no pace in the side apart from Haaland. He's got to look at Doku, he's got to look at the other winger they've got from Girona. There's no pace in the side.
Fulham, with the chances that they've had, could have had 3 goals.
It could have been, yes.
Manchester City might have the possession, but the chances have fallen to Fulham, who still lead by a goal to 0. Bolton Wanderers 0, Shrewsbury Town 2. Northampton have equalised at Wrexham in League One. Wrexham 1, Northampton Town 1. Remember Liverpool, the top 3 in action today. Liverpool have already got those points secure. They've beaten Crystal Palace by a goal to 0 at Selhurst Park. 4 points clear. Manchester City are trailing. What about Arsenal? John Southall.
Arsenal 0, Southampton 0. Southampton frustrating Arsenal at the moment. Southampton forced into a change. Ross Stewart's hobbled off. Cameron Archer on. Arsenal 0, Southampton 0.
Here is Robinson waiting to take a throw on this near side, the left. Half an hour played. Talks about that awful record that Fulham have. Talks about how it looked quite ominous for them. 15 minutes time, Marco Silva could be going in with a little bit of a lead here by 1-0. I mean, because of the quality of Manchester City, you can never take anything for granted. But certainly Marco Silva could be ruining those missed opportunities.
Yeah, well, when you come to places like this, you've got to take your chances. And listen, they've defended well. City had a great start, but there's no pace in the team yet. And you look at them, they just pass it. And
Kanji sweeps over the cross, headed away by Tete. The right back was tucked in, partially cleared. Berger tries to get on the edge of the area to Pereira. They lose the ball as Manchester City win it back. 30 yards out from goal. 14 minutes remaining. Out to Bernardo Silva once again on this near side, the right. Robinson is back goal side. Infield, he shifts the ball to Kovacic. Gets it from Foden. Come on City, come on City is the chant from the home crowd here on 5 Live. Gvardiol out towards Grealish. Tries to get away from Iwobi, who dived in. Ball ballooned up a little bit in the air after that challenge. They've doubled up on Grealish. Tete and Iwobi, and Tete pulls him to the ground. Referee, though, will give a corner kick to Manchester City, which Gundogan looks to take. And Fulham have got everybody back.
yeah, rightly so. Protect this lead. They've looked very dangerous on the counter-attack, haven't they, Fulham? You've got to say.
There's a corner kick just in front of the away supporters on that far side. For those of you who've ever been to the Etihad, Gundogan to take it. Plenty of loft on that. Comes out to Kovacic, takes a deflection, and Manchester City are level. He rifled it hard, low, right-footed. 13 minutes before half-time. The champions are back all square 1-1.
Well, didn't take them long, did it? A set piece comes out. Kovacic runs out with massive deflection. I don't know if it's off Jimenez. Goes into, flies at the top corner. Leno got no chance of saving that. Changed the direction of the ball. Guardiola's having a word with Phil Foden on the touchline, but Fulham don't need that. They needed to go at least another till half time, but game back on.
Kovacic with his second goal of the season, unless of course the dubious goals panel, but it was on target before that wicked deflection from a crowded penalty area. And it looks like it might have come off Joachim Andersen with the last touch, and that gave Leno no chance. Updating the Rugby Union, Molly Stevens.
Bath 7, Bristol Bears 14. Santiago Grondona on his debut puts Bristol back in front, scoring right between the sticks. After a brilliant solo try from Bath fullback Sam Harris just moments before. Bristol with their noses in front in the West Country derby, 7 points to 14.
The only goalless game in the 3 o'clock games in the Premier League is Arsenal-Southampton. Brentford lead Wolves 3-2. West Ham 1, Ipswich 1. 1-1 here at the Etihad. And Pat Murphy has the latest at Leicester City.
Still 1-0 to Leicester. That brilliant goal from Buonanati, but Bournemouth are up in the pressure now. Christie, goal-bound shot blocked by Fast, and then Tavernier unmarked from a short corner, missed his kick. Leicester 1, Bournemouth 0.
Gvardiol is the player who brings the ball over the halfway line on that far side, the left. Out to Grealish, coming in now off that left touch line in front of Iwobi. Passes it to Gundogan, goes further in field to Kovacic. Kovacic back to Gundogan. And we've got 12 minutes remaining of this first half on BBC Radio 5 Live, the World Service, and also the BBC Sounds app. So a choice of listening on a Saturday afternoon. As Bernardo Silva tries to get away from Robinson, dropped to his knees, quickly back onto his feet, holds off Robinson, who ushers him away on this near side. Bernardo Silva holds onto the ball, finds Diaz right at the centre circle. Gvardiol now curls it along the ground, out towards Grealish, allowing Grealish to attack Iwobi right from the off. Infield now to Gvardiol, nudges it into the path of Kovacic. He goes square. Bernardo Silva, away, faced by Robinson once again, runs down the right-hand side of the penalty area. Robinson, back to goes to Foden. Foden's shot blocked. Rico Lewis hits it. Blocked again, this time by Bassett. Up in the air. Traore holds on to it. Fulham lose the ball again. Manchester City win it back. Here is Kovacic, urged on by the home crowd. Bernardo Silva, the go-to man on the right-hand side. Edge of the area. Kovacic again, blocked by the thigh of Bassett. Gvardiol shot. Leno with the save. Behind for a corner kick. City knocking on the door.
I'll tell you what, Ian, since the goal, City's equalised that. Fulham have lost a little bit of belief here. There's a few people not making things happen. They're just watching Manchester City on the ball. They've got up the tempo if they want to get through to half-time.
Just over 10 minutes to go to the break. Peter Banks, the referee, has spotted something in that penalty area. He's calling Anderson towards him. And is it Haaland or Diaz? Haaland is the player who eventually summons. Diaz is just loitering, trying to eavesdrop as Manchester City wait to take the corner kick. The short option was a possibility with Foden, but Pereira now goes across to cut that out. 1-1. Corner kick far side. Gundogan to take it, curling. Diaz tries to get on the end of it, headed out, headed back by Kovacic. Header away by Traore, picked up by Jimenez. Iwobi and Pereira going through the middle if he can find them. Iwobi tries to help it on and reaches Pereira as well. Jimenez has continued his run. Pereira swings over the cross. Gvardiol was back. His header away from inside the penalty area, picked up by Raul Jimenez on this near side. And he comes to a walking pace now for Fulham. 1-1, 9 minutes to go to half-time. Here is Pereira, central position, with pace, out towards Iwobi. In that last slither of sunshine. And then the ball from Tete. And now Anderson. And Fulham have every outfield player in the Manchester City half. Chesterfield 0, Walsall 1. Walsall could take advantage of the top two losing in League Two. That would actually take them top of League Two, as they are ahead there at Chesterfield. As this is Sander Berge, signed from Burnley, and the Sheffield United player. Lukic waits, Robinson near side the left, goes down the touchline, keeps the ball in play, gets a little bit of room, gets a low cross, blocked by Gvardiol. It will be a Fulham throw on this near side the left. No other goals to tell you about as we edge our way to half-time on this Saturday afternoon. Don't forget Sports Report with Mark Chapman, all the results and the reaction before commentary from Goodison of Everton against Newcastle United. Stephen Warnock and John Murray will bring you that. Here is Anderson to Lukic. Chips the ball forward, spins in the air. Robinson onto it, kills it, then sends over a left-footed cross. Iwobi and Mark, right-hand side of the penalty area. Back to Jimenez, scuffs it. He finds Pereira. Pereira back to Jimenez, tries to run it at a goal. Comes out towards Traore, plays it and cleared away by Foden. And Manchester City all of a sudden have got to do some defending. And they don't hang on to the ball. Back with Iwobi for Fulham. In field to Pereira, returns the ball to Iwobi, time to measure the cross, plays it in low, turned behind by Gvardiol for a corner kick. Will go to Will Perry at Brentford.
Brentford 3, Wolves 2, crazy game this one. Sharda should have put Thomas Frank's side 4-2 up, across from the left from Lewis Potter. Sharda's header kept out by the foot of Johnston from 2 yards out. Brentford 3, Wolves 2.
Say that Walsall could go top of League Two in the basement clash. Accrington and Morecambe, both sides yet to win so far this season. Both threw away leads in midweek. Accrington Stanley are leading Morecambe by 1-0. Derek Adams' side, though, have drawn their last 4 for Morecambe. 7.5 minutes to go to the break. It's 1-1. Corner kick left-hand side. Pereira to take it. Didn't beat the first man at the near post, headed out by Gundogan.
I don't get that. Everybody in the Fulham shirt goes to the far post. It's something they've worked on, and he hits the near post, which doesn't hit the first man, and it's away for a throw-in. But Fulham, when they believe in themselves, they're causing problems.
Belief, very much the key word. Certainly they've had the better chances. Almost like a foul throw that by Robinson on this near side. Back with Bassey. Robinson goes back to Anderson, and we'll go back to Leicester and Pat Murphy.
It's still 1-0 to Leicester, but Buonanotte was having a brilliant game. He laid on a tremendous chance for Vardy, who would normally put it away in his sleep. Couldn't sort his feet out, stabbed it wide. Leicester 1, Bournemouth 0.
Those Liverpool supporters travelling back, getting away from all the traffic that you get when you go to Selhurst Park after that 1-0 win against Palace, will be keen to know that Arsenal 0, Southampton 0. Manchester City 1, Fulham 1 as we approach half-time on this Saturday afternoon. And what's the latest at West Ham, Chris Coles?
The chances continue to flow. Still West Ham 1, Ipswich 1. Jacob Greaves for Ipswich, 4 yards out, a header just went wide. And at the other end, Mohamed Kudus, another header, clipped the outside of the post. West Ham 1, Ipswich 1.
5 Live's Premier League Sunday tomorrow. Aston Villa, Manchester United is our commentary from 2. Brighton, Tottenham at 4:30. Chelsea, Nottingham Forest, incidentally, will be on a Sports Extra, so choice of offering tomorrow afternoon. Pereira curls the ball out. Traore running forward. Robinson just had to check his run. Now delivers the first time cross, cleared on the volley by Ruben Dias inside his penalty area. Robinson lets the ball bounce, heads it back into the penalty area, and it's on the half volley, cleared by Akanji. 5 minutes to go to half time. Berger heads it back to Calvin Bassey. Wrexham are back in front in League One. Wrexham 2, Northampton 1, and back to Chris Coles at West Ham.
Amazing, we've only seen 2 goals. We could have had 5, 6, 7. Another great chance for West Ham. Thomas Soucek, 6 yards out, goal at his mercy. He found Sam Morsey in a great position on the line to clear for Ipswich. Still 1-1.
In the early games today, I mentioned that Palace 0, Liverpool 1 in the Championship, Burnley 0, Preston 0 in that Lancashire derby, Norwich 4 unbeaten now after beating Hull City 4-0, Portsmouth 1, Oxford United 1, Pompey still yet to win. A couple of results in League 1, Huddersfield beat Barnsley in the Yorkshire derby 2-0, Peterborough 2, Stevenage 1, and in League 2, Fleetwood 0, Bromley 0, Grimsby 0, Doncaster Rovers 3. 4.5 minutes remaining of this first half here at the Etihad, 1-1. As Gvardiol back to Ruben Dias. Akanji finds Dias inside the centre circle. Gvardiol will pass the ball to Kovacic, who drops in between the 2 central defenders. The fullbacks are pushed on. Rico Lewis has hardly played as a right back all game in that inverted role, as Mansfield have got a second at home to Blackpool. Mansfield 2, Blackpool 0. Nigel Clough's side really are going well. Bassey keeps the ball in play on this near side, tries to use his strength to hold off Lewis, and at least gets a throw for Fulham.
I've got to say, in the last 5 minutes or so, Fulham have been in control. They're dictating the pace of the game. They've got the ball. They look very positive. They'll go, and if it keeps like this, they're off saying with great belief. But I'm sure Pep Guardiola will have something up his sleeve. I know he's warming the 2 wingers up already, so I can see him changing. And that's the problem. They work the ball very well, City. They get it wide, but nobody gets beyond the defence. So they come back inside, go to the other side, and they need somebody who's going to go past somebody.
Doco and Savinho are the 2 players warming up away towards our left, as Pep Guardiola watches on in that technical area. Marco Silva will still look back, though, to the chances that his side have had and those chances that have been squandered, although I'm sure at the start of the game he'd have more than been content with a 1-1 draw, if it is that scoreline in the next 3.5 minutes, going in level at the break, as Manchester City have the ball inside the centre circle, and Foden drops short to collect it, and Akanji now joins the attack. Bernardo Silva tries to take it first time past Robinson, who stumbles. Silva delivers the cross. On the cover though was Berger to head the ball out of play. Barrow 0, Cheltenham 1, and Molly Stevens is watching Bath Bristol in the rugby.
Bath 7, Bristol Bears 19, and 4 tries in the first half hour. It's end-to-end here. Van Rensburg with Bristol's 3rd try to the left of the sticks. No conversion though, 7 points to 19.
Here is Akanji. Foden, forward ball. Back then to Kovacic. Kovacic runs into a central area. Gvardiol is an option to the left. Then his ball forward to Grealish, left-hand side of the box. Grealish delivers the cross. Bernardo Silva with the header. Back towards the far post. And leaping. Actually went probably closer to goal than I was initially expecting. Went out behind for a goal kick, 1-1.
Yeah, it was the first time I've seen Jack Grealish go past to Obi on that left-hand side, and he stands the ball up. I think Robinson just put Bernardo Silva off. As he goes to head it, Robinson jumps in the air as if he's going to try and get it, and I think that puts Bernardo Silva off, who heads it back across the goal, but well over the crossbar.
If you haven't yet downloaded the BBC Sounds app, it's perfect for listening to sport on your travels, and you'll be able to do exactly that with 5 Sports Extra and the TMS team on Monday morning, because there'll be ball-by-ball coverage of Pakistan against England, that first test that starts on Monday at around 6 o'clock. If you're out walking the dog on a early morning, you can go all times to walk a dog, of course, but BBC Sounds whenever you're doing so. It doesn't have to be at 6 o'clock in the morning, as we've got 90 seconds remaining, and Fulham have lost the ball. Early ball play through by Bernardo Silva to Haaland, cut out. Kovacic then to Pereira, picked up by Ruben Dias, running forward. Still no other goals to tell you about so far. Here is Grealish. Manchester City, can they try and conjure a chance up before the break? Grealish waits, nobody approaches him, stands still on the ball, curls it then. Akanji. Fulham have got everybody back. This now is with Gvardiol on that far side. Back to the halfway line they go, and another goal at West Ham. Chris Coles.
West Ham have finally taken one of their brilliant chances. They lead Ipswich by 2-1. Thomas Souček with the final touch, and Antonio header underside of the crossbar. It may have crossed the line. Souček made sure it did. West Ham 2, Ipswich 1.
Here is Lewis, right corner of the area, still going Rico Lewis. Anderson will get the ball clear for Fulham. Dundee are down to 10 men, so Dundee have had Mo Silla sent off. They're leading Kilmarnock by 1-0 in the Scottish Premiership. Here is Foden on the right hand side. We're about to find out how much added on time there will be. Still 1-1, and it remains Arsenal 0, Southampton 0, and there will be an additional 60 seconds as the fourth official only now ventures forward to show us the board. Yet to raise it, but we'll be having 1 minute of added on time, and there it is, the big bright red digit, as England's women are 62 for 2 after 10 overs in that T20 World Cup tie against Bangladesh. Live commentary on Sports Extra. Ball played forward by Kovacic to Foden. First Premier League start, wins a corner off the body of Robinson. Behind it goes one apiece.
Well, you've got to give Fulham credit. They've defended very, very well. Quick corner
on the right hand side. Bernardo Silva, edge of the area, finds Rico Lewis. Plays it into the box, rides up a little bit, allows Fulham to maybe get it away to Jimenez. I noticed that Mohamed Kudus was actually attributed with that goal, so it must have crossed the line before Souček applied the finishing touch, as West Ham lead Ipswich by 2-1. Leicester lead Bournemouth by 1-0. Brentford 3, Wolves 2, Arsenal 0, Southampton 0, and a Fulham player has stayed down. That's Jimenez on that far side, as that will certainly allow Fulham to get everybody back to defend this free kick.
Yeah, it's Jack Grealish who I don't see any contact. In fact, he's actually took Jack Grealish down, so
Gvardiol waits to take it. Short down the line, Grealish back to the Croatian. Referee Peter Banks blows his whistle. Half time, Manchester City 1, Fulham 1. Fulham taking the lead after 27 minutes. Delightful back heel by Jimenez. Pereira pounced to poke home. They've had the best chances in the game. Manchester City have dominated with possession, and they were back level with that Kovacic effort taking the deflection.
I've got to say, and I think looking at it at the start, I thought Man City one-way traffic for the first 15 minutes. I thought it was going to be how many they're going to score. Give Fulham credit, they've dug in and they broke well, and they deserved their equaliser, and really they should be in front.
They should, but at half-time, Manchester City 1, Fulham 1.
Straight to Brentford. What a first half, Will Perry.
6 goals in the first half, anyone. Brentford 4, Wolves 2. We're still playing, just about to restart, but Ethan Pinnock has scored number 4 for Brentford from the corner. Damsgaard's corner. Pinnock unmarked at the back stick, heading past Johnston. Brentford 4, Wolves 2.
Chesterfield have just equalised at home to Walsall. Chesterfield 1, Walsall 1. Let's tidy up the Kudus goal with Chris Coles.
2-1 West Ham. Kudus did get the final touch. Mikel Antonio's header hit the crossbar just off the line, and Souček and Kudus both went for it. Kudus got the final touch. We've got 90 seconds of the first half to play. West Ham 2, Ipswich 1.
Battle of the bottom 2 in League 2, and Dara Costello has just got his second of the afternoon, and Accrington Stanley, who are bottom, lead Morecambe, who are 23rd, by 2-0. John Southall.
Arsenal 0, Southampton 0. This will probably be the last play of the half. It's a corner over on the far side that Declan Rice will take for Arsenal. They've been camped in the Southampton half all half of the game. Over comes the corner now. There's Ramsdale, punches it away. Arsenal 0, Southampton 0.
Still playing at Leicester, I think. Pat Murphy.
Yes, they lead by a brilliant goal by the Argentinian teenager Buonanotte. Calmed the nerves just when it was needed. Leicester 1, Bournemouth 0.
Into the Championship, half-time at Bramall Lane. Sani Rajavajala.
Sheffield United 1, Luton Town 0. Don't know if you can remember your 22nd birthday, Mark, but Jezran Raksaki will certainly remember his after these first 45 minutes. I got vague memories of a student night in Sheffield, but there'll be a few more toasting him after that first half display. Emphatic for his goal. Sheffield United lead at a break. Sheffield United 1, Luton Town 0.
Only goalless game in the Premier League, John Southall.
Arsenal 0, Southampton 0. It can't be, it really can't be this one. They've been camped. It is at the moment, but Arsenal, they've been camped in the Southampton half. Credit though to Southampton, they've defended really well, they've been organised, they've been compact, they've been everything actually they weren't at Bournemouth on Monday night. The Arsenal chances, Havertz with a blocked effort, we had Jorginho on the edge of the D, he shot wide, then right on half time Thomas Partey, just his shot was denied by Ramsdale, and there was Sterling nudging it wide on the rebound. So half time, Arsenal 0, Southampton 0.
Sheffield Wednesday have equalised in first half stoppage time. Jadid Gassama has got that. Coventry 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Half time at the London Stadium. Chris.
Important half of football for West Ham, leading Ipswich by 2-1. West Ham in front inside a minute. Antonio sweeping home Bowen's cross. Ipswich level 5 minutes later. Delap snapshot from the edge of the box. Further excellent chances followed. West Ham eventually took one. Antonio's header off the bar. Kudus following up to head in. Hooked at half-time last week. A score of this. And West Ham have a half-time lead. 2-1 over Ipswich.
Thilo Asgard has just got his 4th of the season for Wigan. They're unbeaten in 5 and they lead at Stockport on the stroke of half-time by 1-0. Half-time at Leicester. Pat.
1-0 to Bournemouth. It could be 2-0. Vardy, by his standards, Mr. Sitter, having been put on the plate by Buonanotte, a brilliant Argentinian teenager who scored a superb goal after a great give and go with Justin James. Earlier on, Bournemouth threatened some fast, energetic style of play. They missed a couple of chances just when they were wobbling a little bit. Leicester, up came that brilliant piece of skill by the Argentinian teenager. It's Leicester 1, Bournemouth 0.
Thank you. Next, we will go on. Will Perry, you might need a bit longer than 40 seconds here.
I'll do my best. Brentford 4, Wolves 2. They couldn't score in the opening minute for the 4th consecutive game, but 75 seconds will do. Collins heading in from close range. Wolves level just 3 minutes later. Cunha sweeping home, and Bummo made it 2-1 from the spot after Lamina's foul on Collins. Strand Larsen equalised, turning in Ait-Nouri's cross before Norgard fired Brentford in front for the 3rd time in this game after a lovely build-up in that one, and Pinnock's header just before the break gave them that 2-goal cushion. Brentford 4, Wolves 2.
Very good. Breathe. Burnley 0, Preston 0, Norwich 4, Hull 0, Portsmouth 1, Oxford 1 in the early games in the Championship. This won't take long, Lee Blakeman.
West Brom 0, Millwall 0. Forgettable first half with chances few and far between. West Brom's best saw Fellows cross to top scorer Madja, who somehow blasted wide from 9 yards, while Millwall's only real effort saw McNamara test goalkeeper Palmer from distance. Needs a goal this one big time. West Brom 0, Millwall 0.
Tell you what, there are plenty of games in the Championship that need a goal. In the 3 o'clock games, there are only 4 goals, and 2 of them have come at Coventry, where it's 1-1 between them and Sheffield Wednesday. Goalless at Watford, Charlie Slater.
Yes, we're having a swell time here at Vicarage Road, 0-0, but Michael Carrick's side should be in front. Finnessaz put a free header wide. Latte Lath headed over from close range. One chance at the other end. Tom Ince, who couldn't keep it down from just inside the 6-yard box. But yes, 0-0.
John Akers has a goal.
I do. Plymouth 1, Blackburn 0. Michael Obafemi with his first for the club. Brilliant assist from Ibrahim Sissoko. I don't know if you've seen him play yet, but he has got great feet, some pace, skill, trickery. He's gone close a couple of times himself as well. So a really good goal, team goal, and a lovely finish from Obafemi. Plymouth good for their lead. Plymouth 1, Blackburn 0.
Elsewhere in the Championship, Coventry 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Jack Radoni put Mark Robbins' side ahead, but as I told you, Jadid Gassama equalising in first half injury time, so it's 1-1 there. Derby 0, QPR 0, Swansea 0, Stoke 0. The other games in the Championship. In League 1 earlier, Huddersfield 2, Barnsley 0. Peterborough 2, Stevenage 1 is how the 2 early games finished. In the 3 o'clocks, bit of a surprise at Bolton. Shrewsbury, next to bottom, lost 4 of their last 5 in the league, and they are 2-0 up at Bolton at the break. Their second goal coming from Jordan Shipley, 3 for the season for him. Burtonley, Bristol Rovers by 1-0. They are yet to win in the league this season, Mark Robinson's side, but Danilo Orsi's 4th of the season has put them ahead there. Goalless between Charlton and Birmingham. Exeter bottom of the table, Cambridge by 1-0. Lincoln and Leyton Orient are goalless as well. Mansfield 2, Blackpool 0. Will Evans 4 for the season. He's got both of those goals this afternoon against a Blackpool side who are unbeaten in the league under Steve Bruce until today. Rotherham 0, Reading 1, Stockport 0, Wigan 0. So maybe that Wigan goal that I gave you was disallowed. I'll check on that just for you in a second. Wrexham lead Northampton by 2-1. James McLean and Jack Marriott with his 5th of the season with the goals for Wrexham. Cameron McGeehan with his 3rd of the season for Northampton, and Wickham lead Crawley by 1-0. Let's go back to the Valley. Mike Williams.
Well, Charlton frustrating the lead league leaders here, Mark. They should be ahead as well. They've had the better chances. Gordon with an early volley just over the bar. Alan Campbell's long-range effort also sailing over. Then on the cusp of half-time, Daniel Kanu back in the side today, tricked his way behind the Birmingham defence. The keeper was stranded. He took the ball to the byline, had an open goal to aim at, but instead just rolled it across the face of goal, and Birmingham managed to keep it out. The visitors and the former Charlton striker Alfie May so far have offered precious little. Charlton 0, Birmingham 0.
That Wigan goal was ruled out for handball, so it's Stockport 0, Wigan 0. In the early games in League 2, Fleetwood 0, Bromley 0. Doncaster won 3-0 at 10-man Grimsby. In the 3 o'clock games, we're with the leaders Gillingham, who are at Crewe, and behind at Crewe, Adam Cottier.
Crewe 1, Gillingham 0 at half-time. Gillingham at the moment heading towards back-to-back defeats after conceding for just the 4th time this season. Shiloh Tracy from close range for Crewe after good work in the penalty area by Jack Lancaster, who's been Crewe's standout player. Their captain Dimitri, who made a brilliant block to deny Gillingham's Jack Nolan late in the first half, but Gillingham not aggressive enough going forward, and they trail Crewe 1-0.
Dara Costello has got both of the goals for Accrington, and the bottom of the table side lead the side in 23rd Morecambe by 2-0. Barrow, who aren't on a great run of form, 3 straight defeats in all competitions, although that does include the League Cup defeat to Chelsea, are behind at the break again. They trailed Cheltenham by 1-0. Chesterfield 1, Walsall 1. Colchester 0, Carlisle 0. MK Dons lead Tranmere by 1-0. Notts County 0, Port Vale 1. Salford 0, AFC Wimbledon 0, and Swindon 0, Harrogate 0. Into the Scottish Premiership, A-League, there's only 1 goal in the 3 games here. Dundee lead Kilmarnock by 1-0, and they're down to 10, which means the game Ailey's at is goalless.
It is indeed between Hibs and Motherwell. So much talk of this fixture historically giving goals, but we haven't had one yet. Hibs have had chances though. Kukarevic denied twice by an unbelievable double save. Motherwell's 18-year-old superstar Lennon Miller has cleared another off the goal line, and just before half-time, Oxborough tipped round the post. A beautiful curling effort from Hibs on loan Celtic midfielder Gyoku Kwon. Hibs have been by far the better team, but we still await that opening goal at the break. It's Hibs 0, Motherwell 0.
And the other game in the Scottish Premiership, also goalless then, between St Mirren and Dundee United. In Scottish Championship, Adrionians 0, Dunfermline 1. Falkirk in second, lead top of the table Ayr by 1-0. There's not many goals here either. Morton Wraith, Partick Livingston and Queen's Park Hamilton all goalless. The top 2 in League 1, both behind at home at the break and heavily as well. Alloa trail Cove Rangers 2-0 and they're down to 10. And Queen of the South are 3-0 down at home to Kelty Hearts. Elsewhere, Annan 1, Montrose 0, Arbroath 0, Inverness 0 and Dumbarton 1, Stenhousemuir 2. In Scottish League 2, Clyde 0, Spartans 1, East Fife 2, Bonnyrigg Rose 0, Bonnyrigg Rose down to 10 as well, Edinburgh City 0, Stranraer 1, Peterhead 0, Elgin 1 and Stirling 2, Forfar 1. The only division I haven't given you, National League in England, AFC Fylde 3, Aldershot 2. AFC Fylde were 3-0 up in that game. The leaders Barnet behind at the break to Boston. Barnet 0, Boston 1, Braintree 1, Altrincham 0, Eastleigh 1, Forest Green Rovers 0, Ebbsfleet 0, Rochdale 2, FC Halifax 0, Tamworth 2, goalless between Gateshead and Wealdstone, Hartlepool 0, Sutton 2, Oldham 0, Solihull Moors 0, Southend 0, Maidenhead 1 and Yeovil 0, Dagenham and Redbridge 0. Earlier in the Women's Super League, Brighton beat Aston Villa by 4-2. Let's go to the cricket. Earlier, Australia beat Sri Lanka by 6 wickets in the Women's World Cup T20. England currently playing Bangladesh. Henry Moran.
And England are 76 for 4 early on in the 13th over. We've just seen the dismissal of opener Danny Wyatt-Hodge for 41. Disappointing scores from the captain Heather Knight, who made just 6, and Nat Sciver-Brunt, who made 2. Maya Boucher at the top of the order made 23. England not quite wobbling, you wouldn't say, but they're not looking as convincing as they might do. They'll expect to win this game comfortably. 76 for 4 the score midway through the 13th.
In Rugby Union earlier, Scotland beat Japan 19-13 in the WXV Division 2. In the United Rugby Championship, earlier Lions 55, Edinburgh 21, half-time, and Bulls lead Ulster 21-7. Just the one game in the Gallagher Premiership this afternoon, and it's going the way of the visitors, Molly Stevens.
It absolutely is. Bath 7, Bristol Bears 26 at half-time. It's been end-to-end in the Bath sunshine, actually. It's beautiful here. What a debut from Bristol flanker Santiago Grondona. 2 tries for him and twice right between the sticks. Bristol are well on top at the moment. 4 tries in the first half an hour, 5 tries now in total. It's 7 points to 26 at half-time, and Bath know they need to change things.
Minute to 4, 5 Live Sports on a Saturday afternoon. Jill McKenzie has the news.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
Hezbollah's fired several rockets into northern Israel, reportedly damaging residential buildings. Israel says it's bombed a mosque in the south of Lebanon that was being used as a command base by Hezbollah. Thousands of people in central London are demonstrating against Israel's military campaigns in Lebanon and Gaza in a protest timed to coincide with the first anniversary of the 7th of October attacks by Hamas. 2 people have been arrested on suspicion of assaulting an emergency worker. French authorities say a child's died after being trampled on a migrant boat in the Channel. 13 people were rescued this morning. There are also reports that 3 people died in a separate incident last night. And the consumer group Which is criticising new rules on fraud that come into force on Monday. Banks will have to refund victims up to £85,000 within 5 days, but Which says that amount should be higher.
Every medal, every competition, every sprint for the line starts at grassroots clubs across the country. Each one run by dedicated, passionate community builders and legacy creators, all hoping to inspire the next generation of champions. Rain or shine, they arrive at every session long before you do and are still there long after you've gone home. They are invaluable to what we do. So nominate someone today for BBC's Sports Personality of the Year's Unsung Hero Award and give these wonderful people the recognition that they so truly deserve. For more information, go to bbc.co.uk/unsunghero.
This is 5 Live Sports with Mark Chapman. Listen on BBC Sounds.
As things stand, Liverpool have a 3-point lead at the top of the Premier League. They won at Crystal Palace at lunchtime by 1-0. Arsenal being held at home by Southampton. Manchester City being held at home by Fulham. West Ham lead Ipswich 2-1. Leicester a goal up on Bournemouth. Game of the day so far at Brentford, who scored after 2 minutes this time, not after 1 minute, but lead Wolves by 4 goals to 2. Throughout the second half, you'll get all the goals as they go in up and down the country. Plus, as we discovered in the first half, valuable advice on when to take your dog for a walk. Freddie Jones sent us a tweet saying, I'm planning to take my Labrador Cooper out for a walk at full time. Could you just check with Ian Dennis for me if that's an acceptable time, please?
Yeah, I'll give you permission, Freddie, to take your dog for a walk. You know when you realise you're going down a bit of a rabbit hole?
Oh, but also, you know when you know you're going down a rabbit hole, but everybody back in the studio is thinking, good, got some ammunition for half-time?
Yeah, well, I'm just grateful that we've got a national treasure that working with you, Mark.
Anyhow, they're about to kick off, idiot.
Neither side has made a change. The only reason I said it is that I've got a friend who walks the dog and listens to BBC Sounds. That was so. Anyway, we're back underway. Sky blue shirts, white shorts, and I hope, Freddie, when you're walking your dog later, you're listening to BBC Sounds as well. Otherwise, what's the point? Manchester City are playing from right to left. It's 1-1. Fulham are in their red and black striped shirts and red shorts. But neither side has made a change. We'll run through the two teams as Grealish is quickly onto the ball on this left-hand side. So City have made one change from their last Premier League game against Newcastle. That's Foden for Walker. And it's ball into the penalty area, cut out by Foden for what is his first Premier League start of the season. Edison in goal, Luis Diaz, Akanji, Gvardiol, Gundogan, Kovacic, Bernardo Silva, Foden, Grealish and Haaland. One change for Fulham, and that was Berger coming in for Smith Rowe. So Leno is in goal, Tete, Bassi, Anderson and Robinson, Berger, Lukic, Pereira, the goal scorer, Traore, Jimenez and Iwobi. Chris Waddle.
Yeah, well, I think Fulham will be much of the same and same instructions. Hit them on the break, but be brave when you get the ball, which they were. Man City have got to lift their game massively, and I think Guardiola will give it 10-15 minutes before he starts making changes, i.e. people like Doku, somebody who can take somebody on and beat somebody.
Remember, Arsenal still being held at home as well by Southampton. Brentford 4, Wolves 2, Leicester 1, Bournemouth 0, West Ham United lead Ipswich by 2-1 in the other 3 o'clock games. Foden on the near side, the left, sends over a left-footed cross. Bernardo Silva off his chest, pulls it back. Kovacic hits it, great goal. Kovacic at the double. Just about the sheer speed of that attack by Manchester City. There was a real purpose about Kovacic, got it out from underneath his feet quickly, and right-footed gave Leno no chance. And early in the second half, Manchester City hit the front 2-1.
Well, it was a good change of pace. Grealish rolls it down this left. Foden takes off with the ball, one touch out his feet, great cross the far post, laid back. Kovacic runs onto it, and it's a great finish, by the way. Doesn't put his foot through it, doesn't look for power. He absolutely picks his spot. Foden, far post, Bernardo Silva, chest, great layback, and one touch, second touch, places it in the bottom corner. Fantastic goal by Manchester City.
Kovacic, who scored 3 goals throughout all of last season, and he's already now matched that tally with 2 here today to add to the one that he scored against Chelsea. And Manchester City are leading by 2-1. Bolton have got a goal back. Bolton 1, Shrewsbury 2, Barrow 1, Cheltenham 1, Chesterfield 1, Walsall 2. Latest scores in the Football League on this Saturday afternoon. And for Fulham, that is just the last thing that you'd want.
Well, one at half time, the manager would have said, wouldn't he? Let's be honest. First 10 minutes, keep it nice and tight. Bide your time. We did well in the first half on the break, and do it again, and have conceded within minutes.
And here is Kovacic as the Manchester City looking to continue this formidable record that they've got against Fulham. And Akanji now right of the centre circle. Some of the City supporters around us, only now coming back to their seats, would have actually missed that goal by Mateo Kovacic, who was almost caught in possession by Berger. What's the latest at Arsenal, John Southall?
It's Arsenal 0, Southampton 0. Early opening for Arsenal. Gabriel Jesus on the edge of the area, just trying to shape it into the bottom right-hand corner, a fraction wide. Arsenal 0, Southampton 0.
Lincoln City are leading Leyton Orient by 1-0 in League One. You're up to date with the goals as they go in on BBC Radio 5 Live. 3 minutes into the second half. Manchester City, who are unbeaten in 10 this season, trying to keep pace with Liverpool. Arne Slot, the first Liverpool manager in history to win 9 of his first 10 games. What an impressive start he has had since replacing Jurgen Klopp, as they move on to 18 points after that victory at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace still struggling, still without a win. Lewis runs forward on that far side, back to Kovacic, takes it away from Fulham. A little bit of a tumble there by Jimenez. Manchester City now will be looking just to try to ram home their advantage. Here is Gundogan, picks it up, edge of the area, little ball inside towards Foden, cleared by Anderson. But again, similar times in the first half, it's just going to keep on coming back as Grealish tries to thread a ball through, blocked, comes back out towards Grealish, out to Bernardo Silva, edge of the area held up by Robinson. All City though in the early stages, back towards Akanji, plays it back out towards Bernardo Silva, does the step over, Robinson catches Bernardo Silva as the ball goes out of play, and this might well be the first yellow card, we'll have to see.
Well, I've got to say, to me, from sitting here, Ian, he plays the ball. He made it caught Bernardo Silva after, but he definitely plays the ball, and he's having a word with the linesman. Well, he doesn't really play the ball when you see the replay, so the linesman's got the best view. He's a yard away.
And it will be a free kick to Manchester City. Rotherham United have equalised at home to Reading. Rotherham United 1, Reading 1. Manchester City wait to take this free kick, leading by 2-1, 5 minutes into the second half. So within 2 minutes of the restart, they were leading. And Fulham have got everybody back. So in front of the North Stand, where those renovation work, the redevelopment is taking place. In comes the free kick, and Haaland. Not really mentioned Haaland a great deal, have we?
First 10 minutes I thought he was lively, had a couple of chances, looked sharp, and then since then not seen him at all.
A goal at West Ham, Chris Coles.
Just the start West Ham needed to the second half. They now lead Ipswich by 3 goals to 1. Jared Bowen dropped from the England squad this week, but a great goal, cutting in from the right hand side, left foot arrow into the bottom corner to make it West Ham 3, Ipswich 1.
Ipswich Town still yet to win. West Ham United fall without a victory. Sheffield United were leading Luton Town by 1-0. Sani Rudabadjala.
And they've scored a second. Sheffield United 2, Luton Town 0. And it's Jezran Ratsaki on his 22nd birthday with a brilliant finish. Step over, striking across the goalkeeper to Crystal Palace loan. He's on fire. Sheffield United 2, Luton Town 0.
Sheffield United, one of 4 unbeaten sides, and Chris Wilder. That would take them level with Sunderland, but Sunderland would remain top of the Championship on goal difference after that entertaining game on Wearside last night. Manchester City now, all of a sudden there just feels more of a relaxed atmosphere around the place.
Yeah, I think we're waiting for Fulham's reaction, and there's not been one at the moment. They're very patient, sticking to the game plan. They're going to have to come out at some stage.
Manchester City 2-1 up. We'll go to Pat Murphy at Leicester.
Zabani for Bournemouth, the centre-back, has just headed against the post. Poor marking from Leicester. Early scare for them in this second half. They've got to hang on to this lead courtesy of the Argentinian Bonanotti. It's Leicester 1, Bournemouth 0.
Bernardo Silva, right-hand side, infield to Foden. Foden tried to just pass a ball that was aimed towards Lewis, cut out by the Fulham defence. Traore runs away on that left-hand side. Lewis wins back. Great endeavour by the England international, Rico Lewis. England are 90 for 4 in that Women's T20 World Cup match against Bangladesh in the 15th over. Commentary continues on Sports Extra as Derby County in the Championship are leading Queen's Park Rangers by 1-0, and there's been a goal at Watford. Charlie Slater.
Thank goodness. 54 minutes on the clock. Watford 0, Middlesbrough 1. Low driven cross in from the right hand side. Sema, the defender, goes to clear it. Hits nothing but thin air, and then it hits the other defender, George Edmondson, and goes in. 1-0 to Borough.
And all of a sudden there's a break on for Fulham. It's 4 against 3. Traore to Jimenez. Jimenez, edge of the area, shot blocked. He had Pereira to his right and Iwobi to the left. And Marco Silva arches his back, looks to the heavens with his arms out open wide, because another chance for Fulham had they executed it correctly.
Well, I thought Traore went the wrong way. He should have went to Pereira on the right. He went into Jimenez. He had one thing in his mind, he was going to shoot. He had his head down, a couple of blue shirts around him. He could have squared it again to Pereira. He didn't. He's a goal scorer, we know that they're going to shoot, but bad decision by Traore. He should have went right to Pereira.
Still then 2-1. Here is Gundogan. Certainly had they taken those opportunities, it might have been a different scenario. Here is Grealish. Grealish dinks it in. Robinson tucked in the left back to stoop to head it away. No foul, says referee Peter Banks, for Raul Jimenez on Kovacic, who has a word. Bristol Rovers have equalised. Burton, who is still yet to win. Burton 1, Bristol Rovers 1. Stay in that part of the world. Derby have got a second at home to Queen's Park Rangers in the Championship. Paul Warnside lead 2-0. Here is Foden. Plays it back towards Kovacic. Gundogan with a layoff to Foden. Back towards Gundogan. Lays it off towards Rico Lewis. Nice intricate football by Manchester City. Foden then runs right-hand side of the penalty area. Robinson is tracking him out towards that far side. Foden hangs on to it, finds Lewis. Lewis having such a fine season. Iwobi, was there a foul there? No, says the referee. Manchester City lost it only momentarily. They have their tails up now, leading by 2-1. And the ball then is played back by Akanji. Middlesbrough leading at Watford. They've had an excellent week so far on their travels, winning away at West Brom. Here is Gundogan. Fulham, with the exception of Jimenez, have got everybody behind the ball. The champions, though, are 2-1 up here on 5 Live in the BBC Sounds app, as well as the World Service. Here is Gundogan. Now to Grealish, left-hand side. Faced by Iwobi. Back to Gvardiol. Pereira quick to close him down. Kovacic with the layoff. Back to Kovacic. Passes the ball right-footed. Out then it goes to Bernardo Silva, running on his toes, faced by Robinson once again. Bernardo Silva looking, waiting, teasing, looking for an opportunity. Back to Foden, edge of the area. They're probing. as the deadlock has been broken at Arsenal, but who to? John Southall.
What about this? Arsenal 0, Southampton 1. I think they're probably checking it. Sterling gave the ball away in his own half. Fernandes with the ball through to Archer. He was on the left of the penalty area, cut inside and put it into the bottom right-hand corner. As I say, they're checking the goal, but as it stands, it's Arsenal 0, Southampton 1.
Well, what a twist that would be for a Southampton side that is next to bottom, yet to win this season, and an Arsenal team under Mikel Arteta undefeated in 15 games, which is actually the best undefeated run since he took charge of Arsenal. And that goal stands. So Cameron Archer with that goal 10 minutes into the second half, and Southampton have the lead. Arsenal 0, Southampton 1. Rotherham United 2, Reading 1 is the latest score in League One. Manchester City here lead by 2-1 as Calvin Bassey for Fulham. Back to Anderson. Forward then to Sander Berge. Lukic out to Robinson, high up the pitch, far side. Jimenez waits, lurking outside the penalty area. Kyle Walker's going to be coming on as the cross comes in, and it's chested back by Guardiola. To Leicester City we go, Pat Murphy.
Bournemouth thought they had the equaliser, and Smith with a beautifully controlled left foot chop 20 yards out, thought he was in, but Hermansen stretched and diverted it for a corner. Fine save. Leicester 1, Bournemouth 0.
Kyle Walker will be coming on for what will be a bit of a landmark appearance for him, his 400th Premier League appearance of his career, and it will be Akanji who's going off. So he's just getting his final instructions. Is Kyle Walker back in the England squad for those forthcoming Nations League games against Greece at Wembley on Thursday and Finland away next Sunday. You can hear both on BBC Radio 5 Live. Kovacic. Manchester City now almost toying with Fulham as they lead by 2-1. What's the latest at Brentford? Will Perry.
Brentford 4, Wolves 2. The tempo's definitely fizzled compared to the first half madness. Flecken's double save denying Norgard and Janelt. No Wolves changes at the break was a surprise. Very questionable defending in the first 45, but Hwang has just come on for Andre. Brentford 4, Wolves 2.
Here is Haaland holding up the ball, moves away from the penalty area, brings Guardiola into it. Guardiola onto his right boot. Now to Kovacic, who's on a hat-trick. He's only scored one hat-trick in his career, and that was 10 years ago when he played for Inter. Here is Bernardo Silva, right corner of the area. Foden will have a shot, and it flashes left-footed wide and out for a goal kick. So Manchester City lead by 2-1. Goal kick to Fulham. Arsenal, Southampton. John Southall.
The lead didn't last long. Arsenal 1, Southampton 1. Kai Havertz just inside the penalty area. Really good finish off the left-hand post. Arsenal 1, Southampton 1.
Looks like it's going to be a double change here, Chris Waddle.
Yeah, I think Kyle Walker will come on for Lewis, and Doku will probably come on for Jack Grealish, I would think.
Ball hit away by Robinson. And coming back from an offside position was Jimenez, so that'll be a free kick to Manchester City. A featured game in League One is Charlton against Birmingham City, the leaders. Mike Williams, you've had a goal.
Charlton 1, Birmingham 0. The league leaders behind here to a Matty Godden strike from a corner. Complete hesitancy and uncertainty in the Birmingham defence. They didn't clear their line, and Godden swept home from 8 yards out to the delight of the home fans. Birmingham, who are looking for 8 straight wins, remember, have work to do here in South East London. They trailed Charlton by 1-0.
Well, they were 2-0 down against Peterborough midweek, and they came back to win that one at St Andrews as Manchester City. Still that double change yet to happen here at the Etihad. Just over half an hour to go on BBC Radio 5 Live, where Manchester City lead by 2-1. Doku, I can tell you, will be replacing Grealish, and as we already know, Walker, who's getting spoken to by Pep Guardiola now into that his right ear, is going to be coming on for Akanji. And Wrexham have got a third goal at home to Northampton. Wrexham 3, Northampton 1. That'll take Wrexham onto 20 points, so they'll be 2 points behind Birmingham if Birmingham can't rectify that at Charlton. Nathan Jones has lost his last 3 games on the spin, but Charlton are leading at the Valley. Meanwhile, here we've got a free kick to Manchester City. And the changes are going to be made now. Doku getting his chest thumped by Guardiola, and then a tap on the backside. So Akanji coming off, Grealish will be coming off. Manchester City freshening things up, Chris Waddle.
Yeah, I think good introduction, Doku. We know he's very, very tricky. Obviously, end product sometimes lets him down, but he can go past the man, and that's what Man City have lacked today in the area when they've been on the, in the final third. I think they've lacked somebody who can go past somebody.
Motherwell, who are having a fine season, are leading at Easter Road. Hibs 0, Motherwell 1. Burton Albion 1, Bristol Rovers 2 is the latest score in League 1, and Bolton Wanderers 2, Shrewsbury 2 is a latest score in League 1. We'll be going to Vicarage Road after this free kick for Manchester City, which is midway through the Fulham half, and 29 minutes remain of this second half. Fulham are going to be making a change. They're going to be bringing on Smith Rowe and Kearney for Pereira and Berger. Gundogan to take it, flat ball in, headed out by Berger, might be his last involvement, out to Lewis, off the chest, volleys it just wide. Out for a goal kick, as promised, Charlie Slater at Watford.
62 minutes on the clock and Middlesbrough almost doubled their lead. They had one disallowed after Emmanuel Latti. Lath went too early and was caught offside, and then just a moment ago an excellent double save from Jonathan Bond, which has prevented Doak from making it 2-0. It's Watford 0, Middlesbrough 1.
Talks about that fine start for Motherwell. News of their goal from Ailey Barber.
It's been all Hibs, but it's Motherwell who take the lead. A really well-worked free kick. Everyone expecting it into the box. It was slid down the right. Stamatolopoulos onto the end of it and smashed it into the roof of the net. Against the run of play, it's Hibs 0, Motherwell 1.
Thanks, Ailey. Fulham then still to make that change, as they're only trailing by 2-1 with 62 minutes played here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Remember, Arsenal level now at home to Southampton, 1-1. But Fulham coming forward with Traore, out to Robinson, cross on the run, left-hand side, cut out by Guardiola. Goal in our featured game in League 2's at Crewe, Adam Cottier.
Crewe 2, Gillingham 0, Shiloh Tracy with his second goal, a brilliant angled right foot drive in off the far post. Crewe 2, Gillingham 0.
Last we heard, Walsall were leading at Chesterfield, with Notts County trailing at home to Port Vale. That would take Walsall to become the new leaders of League 2 as it currently stands. As here is Iwobi on the right-hand side, gets the ball back from Pereira, plays it infield to Tete. Tete now shows almost too much to Gundogan, but then just takes it away at the last moment. They work it back out towards Iwobi. Right-hand side of the box, Tete waits. Wanted Berger ahead of him, then they've given the ball away. Anderson straight towards Haaland. Haaland now has Foden in support in the centre circle. That's going to be a clear foul by Calvin Bassey. Pulled him back, held him up and then pulled him back. Yellow card.
Took one for the team there because they were on a break.
Let's get an update from West Ham. Chris Coles.
West Ham 3, Ipswich 1, so nearly 4-1 West Ham. Bowen, who's having a fine game, picked out Kudos, waved the left leg at it. Muric with a fine save low down to his right. West Ham 3, Ipswich 1.
Hibs have equalised at Easter Road through Jonior Hoylett. Hibs 1, Motherwell 1. Pereira coming off, now the change can be made. It's going to be Smith Rowe coming on and Berger is the other player coming off. Let's get the team news from Goodison Park. John Murray.
Everton are without two of their back four after last week's win over Crystal Palace. No Branthwaite and no Mikolenko, so Keane and Garner come in. One other change, Harrison takes the place of Lindstrom, and Newcastle are unchanged from the Premier League last weekend, so Pope, Trippier and Schär, who are all doubts, are all fit to start.
Thanks, John. Stephen Warnock in the commentary position, which will be rather snug with those long legs of John, I would imagine, at Goodison, for commentary from 5:30 after Sports Report with Mark Chapman. All the results, as much live reaction as we can cram into Sports Report before our next commentary. The second of 5 that we're bringing you over this weekend on the 5 Live network. That includes Aston Villa, Manchester United at 2 tomorrow and Brighton, Tottenham at 4:30. News of the Hibs equaliser that was rather prompt. Ailey Barber.
It was indeed a great reaction from Hibs, and Junior Hoylett, who has been the best player on the pitch this afternoon, he robbed Stephen O'Donnell, drove towards goal, beautiful curling finish into the bottom corner. Hibs 1, Motherwell 1.
We've been playing for 65 minutes here on this sunny day in the northwest, and Manchester City leading by 2-1.
Yeah, the game seems to have come off the tempo, hasn't it? There's City are quite content to lead. We just saw Doku there. Well, probably Man City's been lacking in overall in this game. Somebody go past somebody, goes past, final ball lets him down. But Man City in control. Fulham have made 2 changes. but still sticking to the game plan. And Man City's just totally in control of the game at the minute.
They would equal a club record of 30 unbeaten games in the Premier League if they avoid defeat here today, the champions. And we talked about that record of going unbeaten to 50 matches at home in all competitions. Only the fourth different top flight side to get to 50 without losing, as all of a sudden Fulham have a break on, and it's Bassi who switches it to Iwobi. The layoff to the edge of the area is behind Traore. Such a promising position, and now they leave themselves exposed. If Gundogan can pick it up and pass the ball out towards that far side, but it takes a deflection and takes it away from Bernardo Silva for a Manchester City throw on the right-hand side.
Fulham counter-attack wasted, wasn't it? Iwobi there, he had basically they outnumbered Man City. I think it was 4 against 3. Iwobi's layup was just not good enough. City pick it up, and as we expect, keep possession.
And they lead by 2-1, as I just wonder where we'll go next on BBC Radio 5 Live. And it will be to Brentford in a moment, but Foden to Lewis, edge of the area to Haaland, cut out by Anderson. So, come in, Will Perry.
Oh, as Brentford come close again from a corner, Johnston's keeping them in this game just about. Brentford 4, Wolves 2, gone in.
Sorry, Will. Traore in a foot chase with Walker. Don't see that very often. Walker was left, trailing in his weight. And Traore for the second time couldn't beat Ederson one-on-one. It was a real chance. Apologies, Will.
No, I just want to say the Wolves fans turning on Gary O'Neill singing "You Don't Know What You're Doing" as he replaced Andre with Hwang. Rock bottom of the table. 20 goals they've conceded from their 7 Premier League games, and they have Manchester City next. Brentford 4, Wolves 2.
Turned into Frankie Howard there for a moment.
Oh, I tell you what, great pace there. We know he's quick. I don't know what Traore, he's so quick. But when he pushed the past Kyle Walker, I thought, no, you picked the wrong player. But wow, what a change of pace. As you're saying, you don't say that much. Again, he gets one-on-one with the keeper, can't finish.
No, that's the second time, isn't it, one-on-one? And Ederson this afternoon, I mean, they have had some chances of Fulham as they trail by 2-1. And 3 of them have fallen to Adama Traore. Here is Kovacic on the ball to Gvardiol. Manchester City lead by 2-1. Arsenal still being held at home by Southampton 1-1. Here is Doku into the penalty area. Runs all the way through to the goalkeeper Bernd Leno. Leicester City, Bournemouth, Pat Murphy.
Bournemouth thought they had the equaliser. Cook, free kick, flicked on by Eva Nielsen, but to the delight of the Leicester fans, it's been ruled off for offside. Still Leicester 1, Bournemouth 0.
Tomorrow there's live WSL coverage on BBC 2 from 2 o'clock, Tottenham against Liverpool, as Kovacic, his ball cut out by Kearney for Fulham. Reading are down to 10 men as they trail at Rotherham United by 2-1 in League One. Fulham still hoping to try and salvage something from this game we're midway through the second half, as Smith Rowe, the former Arsenal player, to Tete. Iwobi, another former gunner, and there's now been a goal at Arsenal. John Southall.
Arsenal have their second. Arsenal 2, Southampton 1. Cross from Saka on the right hand side, and there was Martinelli on the back post unmarked to tuck it away. Arsenal 2, Southampton 1.
Arsenal coming from behind. Chesterfield 2, Walsall 2 is the latest score in League 2. That will stop Walsall going top of League 2 with both Gillingham and Notts County trailing the teams above them, as Anderson spreads play out towards Robinson, far side the left. Fulham playing from left to right as we look, and now it is with Lukic, square ball. Tete lays it off. Kearney back to Anderson. England's innings has finished in that T20 Women's T20 World Cup match. Commentary on Sports Extra. England posted a score of 118 for 7 from their 20 overs after choosing to bat. Robinson far side the left. Fulham just starting to see a little bit more of the ball, Chris.
Yeah, I think Man City's just dropped off the pace, and Fulham, but they're not hurting them, they're playing in front of them.
Here is Kearney, turns, Lukic outside the centre circle. Bassi forward ball, finds Traore. Robinson was a willing runner on the left touchline. Back it goes to Lukic. Thought he was going to shoot there from a good 35 yards out. Instead he rolls it out to this near side the right. This is Iwobi, almost right corner of the penalty area. Kearney then finds Tete, who's actually ahead of Iwobi. Back to Tom Kearney. Smith Rowe links up as well, keeping it on this right hand side. Opens up for Kearney. Left-footed ball out towards Robinson, lays it off towards Calvin Bassey, 30 yards out from goal for Fulham in their red and black striped shirts. Manchester City have got everybody back behind the ball, even Haaland as Lukic. Good spell this for Fulham, if they can find a little bit of penetration, as Manchester City are keeping them at bay. Iwobi comes in now off the right touchline. The City supporters sense that Fulham are growing in confidence. Lukic threads it, patient play. Robinson, left-hand side, enters the penalty area. Robinson, there was no end product. Traore was there. Kovacic will run it clear, and Kovacic will get the ball clear. And then there was a foul on Doku. No, there wasn't.
No.
Play continues. Iwobi now, right-hand side. Tete on the overlap if he needs him. Iwobi holds it up, leaves it now for Tete, right corner of the area. This is Smith Rowe. Wrexham 4, Northampton Town 1 is the latest score in League One. We're going to West Ham in a moment. Iwobi with a cross, cut out by Diaz. Fulham again win it back very, very quickly. And Haaland will give chase. Bassey on the stretch. Let's get news of that goal. Chris Cole's at West Ham.
Julen Lopetegui surely on his way to a first Premier League home win as West Ham boss. They lead Ipswich 4-1. Another assist for Jared Bowen, laid on a plate for Lucas Paquetá to tap in. West Ham 4, Ipswich 1.
Good vocal support from the home crowd. Manchester City are leading. Iwobi. Good spell though for Fulham.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to have possession in a ground like this where you normally don't get it, you don't normally see the ball, but they're not hurting them, they're not trying to score, and you're getting beat.
That's Chris Waddle with us here today, this afternoon, as Bassey from Lukic. And all of a sudden Manchester City have forced Fulham back midway through their own half. Anderson tries to switch play, looking for Iwobi, and Iwobi beaten to the ball by Gvardiol. Gvardiol stretching, forces the ball out of play for a throw. Had to get there too.
I tell you what, there's a lot of City players look tired. I know they play a lot of football.
Well, for the sides competing in Europe, this will be the end. Certainly those in the Champions League and the Europa League, they'll have played 7 games in a 3-week period. And so for some of them, there'll be no respite for those, of course, involved in international duty. As Lukic out to Iwobi, looking for Jimenez, just couldn't take it in his stride away from Walker, running into the inside right channel of the penalty area, through to Edison it goes.
Well, that's what you've got to do. I mean, it's already keeping possession, but you've got to try and create. You're getting beaten so nearly there.
We've got 17 minutes remaining of normal time. Both Arsenal and Manchester City have come from behind, and they both lead by 2-1 in response to Liverpool's 1-0 win at Crystal Palace. Brentford 4, Wolves 2, all 6 goals in the first half. Leicester still leading Bournemouth by 1-0, and West Ham United now cruising 4-1 at home to Ipswich Town. Bernardo Silva back to Kyle Walker.
I think City need to put in a couple of players on, freshen it up. And they look flat. A lot of them look as if, you know, they've done enough. They look leggy, very leggy.
John Stones is getting some instructions, but he's still got his tracksuit bottoms on and his luminous bib, so he's still a couple of minutes away. There's activity on the bench for Fulham. It looks like a triple change is going to be made. I can see Castagna is one of them. Meanwhile, in the Championship, a goal at Vicarage Road. Charlie Slater.
Watford are level with 15 minutes remaining. A brilliant counter-attack down the right-hand side from Andrews, and he found the substitute Kayembe 18 yards out, blasted it home with his left foot. 1-1.
Going to be a triple change for Fulham. Castagna, Muniz, and also Reece Nelson, on loan from Arsenal, are going to be the final alterations made by Marco Silva. We go to Pat Murphy now at Leicester.
Bournemouth getting closer and closer. Just now Ouattara's headed against the top of the bar. The pressure on. This is a test for Leicester, but they still lead Bournemouth 1-0.
Castagna will replace Kenny Tete at right back. We'll bring you news of the other 2 changes. As yet, the 3 substitutes are yet to come on the field of play, as Kearney sweeps it out low, left-hand side. This is Robinson getting good ground on that far side of the line. He's crossed, might reach Jimenez. Excellent block by Gvardiol, 50-50 challenge. Nelson will come on for Iwobi as Tete passes the ball towards Iwobi. I can't wait to hear the reaction from Marco Silva. Pep Guardiola wants John Stones on the field of play immediately. He's just hurriedly told him after warming up, come on, get ready. You're getting involved in the action.
What a spell Fulham have had, and they had a good spell in the first half. But this last 10 minutes, it's just been, Fulham have just dominated the football.
Raul Jimenez, who got the assist, will be being replaced by Muniz, and as I said, Nelson will come on for Iwobi. They will be the 3 changes for Fulham that are now happening. Whilst they're happening, we can get an update in the Rugby Union. Bath Bristol, Molly Stevens.
Bath 14, Bristol Bears 29. After having 2 tries ruled out for knock-ons in this second half, Bath will be glad to have something for their latest efforts. Will Butt flies over the try line. Phil Russell converts. Bath 14, Bristol Bears 29.
John Stones will be coming on for his England teammate. Phil Foden, his first Premier League start. John Stones hasn't really, I think he's only had 1 Premier League start himself this season, John Stones. He is going to be coming off as he replaces Foden. So there has been a lot of activity. You've not missed any of the action, but with 14 minutes remaining, we will get to that point where we're going to rattle through all the scores in the various divisions. But a latest score from Paisley in the Scottish Premiership is St Mirren 0, Dundee United 1 is a latest score. And indeed, I'll give you the latest scores in the Scottish Premiership. Now, Dundee down to 10 men, lead Kilmarnock by a goal to 0. Hibs 1, Motherwell 1, St Mirren 0, Dundee United 1 as Foden comes off. The 2 results in League 2, Fleetwood 0, Bromley 0, Grimsby 0, Doncaster Rovers 3. These are the latest scores here on 5 Live. Accrington are on course for their first win. It would lead Morecambe Bottom. They lead 2-0. Barrow 1, Cheltenham 1, Chesterfield 2, Walsall 2. Goalless between Colchester and Carlisle. Crewe 2, the lead is Gillingham 0, MK Dons 1, Tranmere 0. Notts County can't take advantage because the second place side is still trailing at home to Port Vale by a goal to 0. Salford Wimbledon and Swindon Town Harrogate Town are both goalless. We've got 13 minutes remaining. League 1 and the Championship scores to come. The 2 results in League 1, Huddersfield beat Barnsley 2-0, Peterborough at London Road beat Stevenage 2-1. Latest scores, Bolton 2, Shrewsbury 2, Burton 1, Bristol Rovers 2. Still lead Burton searching for a first win of the season. Charlton Athletic lead Birmingham City, that would end their unbeaten run, the leaders, who then only be 2 points clear at the top because Wrexham are 4-1 up at home to Northampton. Elsewhere, Exeter lead Cambridge by a goal to 0, bottom of the table and still without a win. Lincoln 1, Leyton Orient 0, Mansfield 2, Blackpool 0, Rotherham 2, Reading 1, Reading down to 10 men. Stockport and Wigan remains goalless. Wickham lead Crawley by a goal to 0. 12 minutes remaining of normal time. Manchester City still lead here by 2-1, as do Arsenal at home to Southampton. The 2 results in the Championship, Burnley 0, Preston 0, Norwich beat Hull City by 4-0, Portsmouth 1, Oxford 1. Latest scores in the Championship, Coventry 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Derby County, who'd lost their last 3 in the Championship, lead Queen's Park Rangers by 2-0. Plymouth 1-0 up at home to Blackburn Rovers. Sheffield United still unbeaten, going to move level on points with Sunderland. They lead Luton 2-0, Swansea 0, Stoke City 0, Watford 1, Middlesbrough 1, West Bromwich Albion 0, Millwall 0. As Robinson is forward for Fulham, trailing by 2-1. His forward ball finds Traore, left-hand side of the penalty area, as Fulham play from left to right. Plays it back, Smith Rowe to Kearney. Lincoln have now got a second goal at home to Leyton Orient 2-0. Cross comes in from the left, headed out by John Stones. Traore on that far side. Manchester City have really dropped off.
They've come right off the pace. I don't know if it's fatigue or whatever it is. Give Fulham credit. They've been a lot braver. They're keeping the ball away from City, but City do look a bit leggy.
Castagna now gets forward, a bit of room to run into, takes the ball down off the chest, back towards Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe links up with Nelson, now backpedals his way out towards the right touchline, and Lukic will find him in that little area of space, right corner of the box, closed down by Doku. To Lukic once again. Fulham coming forward, back now with Nelson. Once again, you can hear what the response is from the Manchester City supporters inside the Etihad. Let's get an update from Arsenal. John Southall.
Arsenal lead by 2-1 as Havertz just shoots into the side netting, but Southampton haven't given this one up. Tyler Dibbling, 25-yarder, took a deflection, just kissed the left-hand post from the corner. Harwood Bellis hit the crossbar. Arsenal 2, Southampton 1.
Fulham haven't given this one up either here, to be fair. Seeing a lot of the ball at the moment. Committing men forward. Robinson with a cross from the left. Partially cut out. Muniz tries to keep it alive, edge of the area, loses out to Kovacic. Kovacic now with pace, can run forward here for Manchester City. Kovacic over the halfway line, out towards Doku. Doku slows it down, and Fulham have got red and black striped shirts back behind the ball. We've got 10 minutes remaining of normal time. No other goals elsewhere around the country to tell you about. Match of the day tonight, BBC 1, 10:30.
It's going to be a long 10 minutes for Manchester City, because, as I say, they're trying to slow the game down now, keeping the ball, but Fulham's dominated the last 15 minutes, and City just seem to run out of ideas and legs.
Here is Ruben Dias to Gvardiol. It'd be the fourth different top-flight side to reach 50. That great Liverpool side from 78 to 81, that actually went on 85 games undefeated at home. Chelsea have done it twice, and Sunderland did it back in 1890 and 1893. As Doku comes forward. Doku, edge of the area! Fine goal! That will surely seal the 3 points for Manchester City, and a half-century is up for the champions. 50 games undefeated at home. A blistering effort from Doku with 9 minutes to go, 3-1.
Well, what we've seen today, and there's a lot of people getting areas like that and pass the ball. If you don't shoot, you don't score. It's simple as that. Doku had one thing in his mind here. When he received the ball on his left-hand side, cut inside, didn't look for Haaland, didn't look at anybody else. Looked at the goal, and wow, what a strike that was.
Movement in the air didn't really give Leno a great deal of hope, did it?
No, I don't. You cannot really question the goalkeeper. Maybe the full-back for letting him come inside onto his right foot. But, you're backpedaling. He's got pace, he's got trickery, comes inside, a little jink, and wow, what a strike that is. You don't save that. The ball moves in the air. Nobody saves them.
It was edge of the area, right-footed, and finds the top right-hand corner. It was a venomous strike.
And that gives them breathing space now.
Hibs are down to 10 men as they are drawing 1-1 with Motherwell at Easter Road. And Leyton Orient have got a goal back at Sincil Bank. Lincoln City 2, Leyton Orient 1. Bath Bristol, Molly Stevens in the rugby.
As you come to me, the conversion's just gone over for Bristol Bears. Bath were on the comeback. The wreck is rocking. Finn Russell put his foot on the gas from the halfway line and passed to Ross Maloney to score. But it looks like Bristol Bears have just responded with another try through Gabriel Ogre. And I make it Bath 21, Bristol Bears 36.
I thought you'd gone to walk your dog there for a minute, Molly. And it goes for a goal kick.
I just looked at Pep Guardiola, the 3-1 up, he's just going mad there with the left back for not watching the run, which could have proved costly. It didn't.
He's just gone and slapped his head 3 times. Pep Guardiola in frustration.
No, he's having a go.
That would hurt.
Wabby, is it? He's having a go. Look, he's saying, how can you not see him running in behind you? I think it's called fatigue.
It's also called frustration. Even now, when his side are leading by 3-1, he's constantly at Gvardiol, who of course is right in the ear of his manager on this near side, the left, as Manchester City play from right to left as we look here on 5 Live. But the points you would think are safe now.
Yeah, I mean, Fulham have given a good account of themselves. You can see why they've had a good start of the season, but probably lack a little bit of belief. They wait for the opposition to. I think, to see what happens before they come into the game. And when you come to a place like this, you've got to be confident.
Well, there's been a sending off, and now there's been a goal at Easter Road. Ailey Barber.
Oh, it's become a bad afternoon for Hibs. Nectar Trianta sent off for a second yellow card, and then just minutes later Motherwell go ahead. A long throw in, Andy Halliday capitalising on an absent Hibs defence to just knock it in past Joseph Bursick. It is now Hibs 1, Motherwell 2.
The early result in the Premier League was Crystal Palace 0, Liverpool 1. Latest scores: Arsenal 2, Southampton 1, Brentford 4, Wolves 2. Leicester still lead Bournemouth by 1-0, and West Ham lead Ipswich 4-1. Here Manchester City lead by 3-1 as Burton are down now to 10 men, still without a win and trailing at home to Bristol Rovers by 2-1 in League One. But for Fulham, they need to score 2 goals in the next 5 minutes of normal time. As a cross comes in, Gundogan hasn't dealt with it. Muniz was there, headed out by Ruben Dias. Talking of records that Manchester City have created, they've also created an unwanted record today, because they've actually equalled a club Premier League record of failing to keep a clean sheet in 8 consecutive home games. Last time they did that was 9 years ago under Manuel Pellegrini. Barrow 2, Cheltenham 1 is the latest score in League 2. 5 Live, the BBC Sounds app, and also on the World Service. As Smith Rowe, nice little footwork away from 2 City players. Smith Rowe to the edge of the D, tries to wriggle his way through, but in the end it was Lewis who's cleared the ball away. And we'll get another update from Brentford with Will Perry.
Brentford 4, Wolves 2, 6 goals in the first half, none in the second. Lamina's effort from 20 yards pushed over the bar by Flecken, and Sharda one-on-one should have squared to Mbeumo, went alone, denied by Johnston, who's keeping this respectable-ish for Wolves. Brentford 4, Wolves 2.
Salford City lead AFC Wimbledon by 1-0 in League 2 as Lukic forward for Fulham to Smith Rowe. The little flick inside didn't quite come off for Muniz as Doku gets away from 2 Fulham players, passes the ball forward. Haaland is onto it, up against Bassi. Haaland comes onto his right foot, passes the ball to Bernardo Silva, and he shoots tamely straight at Leno. Goal at Vicarage Road in the Championship, Charlie Slater.
Watford have turned it around, 87 on the clock. It's Watford 2, Middlesbrough 1. Another substitute, this time Kwadwo Bar, long throwing, fell to him 6 yards out, right foot onto the volley, into the back of the net, and Watford lead Borough 2-1.
Despite being to 10 men, Dundee have got a second goal at home to Kilmarnock. 2-0 they lead in the Scottish Premiership as there's been a goal at Home Park. Plymouth Blackburn, John Akers.
An equaliser for Blackburn. Plymouth 1, Blackburn 1, and Wayne Rooney's been sent off in the aftermath. It was Rankin Costello with the goal. Rooney felt that Hardy was fouled in the build-up, and he's off, coat off, down the tunnel. Plymouth 1, Blackburn 1.
Fulham trailing by 3-1. Kearney. Central position midway through the Manchester City half as Mateus Nunes waits to come on for Pep Guardiola's side. And they would move to within a point of the leaders Liverpool. Gundogan will be the player coming off. Kearney turns, finds Smith Rowe. Out it goes now to Nelson. Nelson, low ball in. Muniz gets the snapshot away. Fulham get a goal back. Manchester City 3, Fulham 2. Late hope for Fulham.
Yeah, they've got nothing to lose, but you've got to say, you know, they could have scored 4 or 5 goals here today, which you don't normally talk about anybody coming here getting them chances. I mean, that was a simple goal. I mean, it's good possession again, which Fulham have done the second half. They've kept the ball very, very well. And it just comes into Nunes, and he just one touch. Nobody's near him. John Stones and Kyle Walker just back off him. John Stones is 3-4 yards away. And that's an absolute easy finish for Nunes.
Well, Haaland is... No, it's Gundogan who's coming off. Haaland has just trudged across to this near side. This could be a case for Marco Silva of wondering, a case of what might have been for Fulham.
I'd be disappointed. I mean, it'd be interesting to hear what he says. Yes, he'd say Man City are good and they dominated the first 20 minutes. You've got to say that. But the amount of chances Fulham have created, and good chances, I'm not just talking about chances where you think, oh, you know, 50-50 chance. These are chances which they should have scored.
So, Manchester City lead by 3-2. It was Arsenal 2, Southampton 1. There's been another goal. John Southall.
And it's now game over. Arsenal 3, Southampton 1 on the break. Bukayo Saka just latched onto a loose ball and finished it off into the bottom left-hand corner. Arsenal 3, Southampton 1.
Will it be a case of as you were? Will Arsenal and Manchester City respond to that Liverpool win and both go on to 17 points? Or is there to be a sting in the tail here, with Fulham now reducing the arrears as Morecambe have got a goal back in that basement clash at the other end of the English system at the bottom of League 2. Accrington 2, Morecambe 1. No other goals elsewhere to tell you about. Manchester City, though, have got a free kick on this near side, the left, and it was interesting there that Ruben Dias has actually just said to a number of Manchester City players, do not go forward, get everybody back because of Adama Traore's pace. So you've got Ruben Dias, John Stones and Gvardiol all keeping an eye on Adama Traore, and we're going to have 5 minutes of added on time, which we are now into. 5 minutes of stoppage time here at the Etihad on BBC Radio 5 Live, the World Service, and BBC Sounds. Arsenal 3, Southampton 1, Brentford 4, Wolves 2, Leicester 1, Bournemouth 0, West Ham 4, Ipswich 1. Lots of goals to see on Match of the Day tonight at 10:30. Out of play it goes. Manchester City will get a throw down by the corner flag on this near side.
Well, just run the clock down. This has been a very difficult game for Manchester City.
Kilmarnock against the 10 men have got a goal back. Dundee 2, Kilmarnock 1 in the Scottish Premiership. spinning the ball in his right hand like a Harlem Globetrotter is Bernardo Silva as he waits to take this throw. Biding his time to Haaland down by the corner flag, to Doku, who got that third goal just when we thought that maybe he'd secured the 3 points. Fulham battling away. I mean, it's going back some time now when they last won against Manchester City. 2009, a couple of goals from Clint Dempsey and second half comeback and a 3-1 win. 22 games since. We've seen 5 goals here today. But is that losing sequence going to be extended to 17 consecutive defeats? The longest in English history. As the ball is forward, Nelson rides the challenge, helps it out to Kearney. Fulham come forward now towards Traore. And Traore enters the penalty area, looks towards Muniz, turn behind. Corner kick for Fulham.
They've done that well today, haven't they? When they have broke well, I mean, they've passed the ball ever so well. And they've got players, especially Traore today, is very, very dangerous.
Well, they've equalled their highest points tally of a Premier League start to a season with 11. After the 6 games, they arrived here, indeed, inside the top 6. They've had the chances to have taken something from it. They might still take something from it. MK Dons 1, Tranmere 1 is the latest score. In League 2, corner kick for Fulham. Right hand side, Anderson gets his head onto it, but it's off target, it's looping, and it will go out of play. As Dundee 2, Kilmarnock 2, so Kilmarnock have taken advantage of that extra man. The home side, down to 10 men, have squandered a 2-goal lead. Dundee 2, Kilmarnock 2, and there's been a late goal. It's at Brentford. Will Perry.
Brentford 5, Wolves 2. It's Carvalho, the substitute, who's tucked it past Johnston. It's been a miserable afternoon for Wolves. A mix-up in the box with Craig Dawson, but it's Carvalho who makes it 5. Brentford 5, Wolves 2.
Wolves still rooted to the bottom of the Premier League and yet to win. Edison's going to get a yellow card here for time wasting.
Yep, and he's took the free kick from the wrong place. Telling him to take it back from the goal line, which he should have, and he's got himself a yellow card.
Guardiola puts his hand on the shoulder of the 4th official, sarcastically applauds, and I wonder if this is going to be a yellow card to Pep Guardiola. And he continues to sarcastically nod and then has a word with the 4th official, and the Manchester City manager is now shown a yellow card. Sheffield United have beaten Luton Town by 2-0. They move level with Sunderland on 19 points at the top of the Championship as Anderson clears it away downfield. Manchester City lead by 3-2. Arsenal 3, Southampton 1. Here is Doku. Brentford 5, Wolves 2. Leicester still lead Bournemouth by 1-0. West Ham 4, Ipswich 1. As much live reaction on its way into Sports Report with Mark Chapman at 5 before Newcastle Everton as our next commentary at 5:30, and then it's 6:06 with Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage. And by my watch, we've got about 70 seconds remaining of added on time. There are 2 balls on the pitch. There's got to be throw's got to be retaken. Bernardo Silva, I think, has just been shown a yellow card for delaying the restart.
Well, they went to get the ball and he threw another ball onto the pitch, so he's got himself a silly yellow card.
That's 3 yellow cards to the home side in a matter of a couple of minutes. Here is Kearney for Fulham, holds off Bernardo Silva. Anderson passes the ball out wide left for Robinson. This has got to be the last bit of action, but Robinson gives it away to Rico Lewis. Lewis with the interception runs forward on that right hand side. Fulham try and get it back. Foul by Nelson. Rico Lewis has had a very good game for Manchester City.
You know what, he goes to one of them players he's unnoticed in. He doesn't really do anything fancy, tricky. He grafts and he plays, he's very disciplined. He plays the role Guardiola probably asks him to play, and he does it well.
The full-time scores are coming in. Derby County's losing run is over. They've beaten Queen's Park Rangers by 2-0. Manchester City have got a throw over on that far side. All the results and the reaction on its way. Don't go anywhere on this Saturday afternoon. The 5 minutes of minimum is up now. Manchester City lead by 3-2. Fulham, though, have got a throw deep inside their own half. I'm not too sure how much time there will be allowed to take this. Another goal at Brentford, Will Perry.
Brentford 5, Wolves 3. They've got another one back in stoppage time. Ryan Aït-Nouri bursting into the box. Avoidable from a Brentford point of view. It's gone through Fleck and too easily, but Aït-Nouri's got one back for Wolves. Brentford 5, Wolves 3.
And there is the full-time whistle, and Manchester City are undefeated in 50 home games with what is a 17th straight win against Fulham. But Fulham will regret the chances that they squandered.
Totally agree with Ian. Fulham turned up. I thought they were just going to park the bus and grab to anything they could, but they grew in confidence in the game. I've got to say they'll feel very unlucky leaving this stadium without getting a point at least. So, yeah, I mean, Man City look a little bit leggy. I know it's a big fixture play, look which teams are playing now, but it's going to be a long season for City. But Fulham look very promising. If they carry this on, might kind of finish top half.
Coventry 1, Sheffield Wednesday 2 is the latest score. Burton 1, Bristol Rovers 3. You're up to date as it's finished full time at the Etihad. Manchester City 3, Fulham 2.